Hello there, very good morning to you on this Wednesday morning. The headlines. Reform UK leader Nigel Farage has just released his New Year message.
We may well be the last chance this country has to actually restore some proper values. Those of family, community, country, the ones upon which I based this party when I founded it in the very beginning.
Ms Farage says Reform is the only party offering hope and change ahead of the 2026 local elections. But do you agree?
Lib Dem leader Sir Ed Davey, he's also got a message as well.
Protecting our environment, fixing the NHS and social care, these are our battles. As well as standing up to Donald Trump and Elon Musk, taking the fight to Nigel Farage and winning. And we can win again in 2026.
And tens of thousands of people who were expecting to travel on Eurostar yesterday are furious this morning, waking up in cities where they certainly did not expect to be.
Swamped by sniffles, millions of patients are seeking help in any departments for, wait for it, a headache, a cough, hiccups, and even constipation. Meanwhile, the government invests 500 new ambulances.
£55 million this year, over £400 million over the next 4 years to make sure we've got a modern, effective fleet that provides safety for patients, efficiency and comfort for the crew.
Yeah, that's Health Secretary Wes Streeting there announcing those 500 new ambulances, and they are set to be deployed across England. Officials call it the biggest upgrade to the NHS ambulance fleet in recent years.
A new year, a new you. From fitness goals to starting a new hobby. Are New Year resolutions a powerful motivator, or do they set you up to fail?
And the iconic music channels MTV Music, MTV 80s and 90s and Club MTV were taken off air today as people shift towards streaming services. Is it time up for traditional TV? We'll be debating that one later.
And behind the New Year celebrations, pubs are facing a big increase in business rates, 32,000 quid for many of them. And punters are warned that the price of their next pint is set to surge as well.
Good morning. It's another cold but sunny start out there as we head into the new year. Snow is on the way. You can find out all the details with me a little later on.
Well, thank you for your company, whoever you're watching, whoever you're listening. I'm Eamonn Holmes.
And I'm Dawn Neeson, and this is GB News Breakfast.
That ambulance business is very interesting. I hope you don't need one, but if you do get an ambulance, they talk about what they have inside in terms of fancy equipment to save your life, which is brilliant. But what most ambulances do not have, quite simply, is suspension.
Right, okay.
Right. And I have been in, what, 4, 5, 6 ambulances in the past couple of years, and horrendous. The ride quality is absolutely horrendous. And they all have that in common, and that's a cost-saving measure.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So basically they say, well, you can have an ambulance at this price, but you can have it £5 cheaper if you don't take any springs in it.
But if you're in pain in the first place, the last thing you need, especially on London's roads, which are full of potholes, as we know, we've done that story enough, haven't we?
Well, any roads, I've been in them in Belfast and London, and absolutely ridiculous. I mean, how the crews are fantastic, how the crews sit in those all day and be bounced about and whatever. But Dawn's absolutely right. If there's something wrong with you, be it the hiccups or constipation or whatever you're going for, isn't it ridiculous what people use A&E for now?
Well, it is. And when I first read that story, Eamonn, I was laughing about it. But, I mean, to be honest with you, if you do get about the hiccups and you can't get rid of them, you do start panicking.
Well, I never really thought of that.
Boo all they like, but...
But so you're saying you would start hiccuping and you could keep going hiccuping for a week or so?
You can. I mean, it has happened. I mean, people just... Yeah, and I would panic. And what you meant to have someone scare you, jump out and go boo, or drink a glass of water backwards or something. None of that works.
I wonder how you stop hiccups then.
Well, this is the thing. That's why people go to A&E, to be honest. But have you ever been to A&E with hiccups or constipation? That can be bad as well. That can be painful. I know it sounds funny, but in any case, let us know. gbnews.com, I'd loads of points.
Your cues for hiccups, cures for hiccups or constipation or anything else, let us know.
gbnews.com/your sale, scan the QR code thingy on your screen. And can we say Happy New Year yet? Is that when you start saying Happy New Year? Happy New Year.
Well, you have to wait till tomorrow to say Happy New Year.
Well, I
don't
mean, but we might not be here to say Happy New Year tomorrow. Well, actually, I am. You're not.
Well, I'm not.
And you can still say Merry Christmas as well.
But what about, well, compliments of the season. But the thing is, New Year, what a rip-off that is. That's another subject we'll be talking about. Are you going to go out anywhere?
No, I'm not. I'm actually... We made the big mistake of going out for a few hours yesterday afternoon to Winter Wonderland, which was absolutely brilliant, had a wonderful time. It was like being a kid again. Absolutely loved it. But not tonight, no. It's overpriced, overcrowded.
And you can't get a taxi?
Yeah, and it's very, very expensive.
Okay. 6:05 is the time. You're very welcome on board, whoever you're watching, however you're listening.
Indeed. OK, now let's crack on with the main story today, shall we? Reform UK leader Nigel Farage has just released his New Year's message. So let's have a listen, shall we?
2025 draws to a close. I can't remember the country ever being gloomier. People are getting poorer, more people are becoming unemployed, inflation is proving sticky, and our debt is running completely out of control with a Chancellor who doesn't seem to have a clue what she's doing. Worse than that, people are frightened now to walk down the street wearing a watch, wearing jewellery. Oh, and by the way, if you say anything rude on Facebook, you may well get a knock at the door. Well, I've come here today to Greenwich to have a think about what this country used to be, what it represented, and what it can become. Because, of course, Greenwich was here at the very height of Britain's naval power. And that wasn't just about winning the Battle of Trafalgar. It wasn't just about building the biggest empire the world had ever seen. It was also about a Royal Navy that spent decades at huge cost driving slavery off the high seas. We have an enormous amount of our past to be proud of, and yet our education system, under both of the last governments, now teaches our kids to be ashamed of the past. Well, the first thing a reform government will do is make sure kids are taught correctly about our history. But if you look behind these magnificent buildings, you see Canary Wharf, you see the 21st century. And not just traditional stocks and shares and bonds, but there's a whole new world developing, a world of cryptocurrencies, a world of AI, a world of digital assets. And neither the Conservative nor Labour parties seem to even understand this world in any way at all. Let me promise you that we do. These are the technologies of growth as we head forward in this century. But none of it can be done unless we produce our own energy, lots of it, and at cheap rates. And because of fanatical net zero policies, we're literally being left behind. 1 in 7 of you own a digital asset of some kind, yet the government, the authorities, simply don't seem to care. And that's the point. We need change in this country, real change in this country. And if we go on voting for the same old parties, I promise you, nothing will change. Think, just in the last few days, of the El Fatah case. Here's a guy that's come out of Egypt, come back to Britain, who's put out just the most abominable, hateful tweets about killing Jews, killing white people, fighting the police. And this man was given citizenship by the Conservative Party and welcomed back into Britain by the Labour Party. Frankly, there is little to choose between the two.
That's Nigel Farage's New Year message. Charlie Rowley is in the studio with us this morning to commentate on this, and you'll have to commentate on a few others because they're all at it. They all seem to think we're interested in what they're saying. However, I don't think Farage is far off the mark there. He's saying the country has never been gloomier.
No, I think that's absolutely right. And if you look to stories that you've all been talking about throughout the year, whether it's about the increase in the number of people that are coming into the country illegally, whether it's about the crime that seems to have gone up, whether it seems to be waiting lists not coming down. You talked to the top about those packed A&E setups. It's pointless getting an ambulance to A&E if they're going to be packed with people that are hiccuping or coughing or wheezing and doing something that they shouldn't be. So the idea of hope and change, which is also his message, change being a very, very key word, because that was the word that Keir Starmer used no end during the 2024 general election campaign. So, and the country certainly got change, but has it been the change that we all wanted? I don't think that's probably the case, which is why Nigel's tapping in on something, as you say, to making sure that we
I think Farage has very much got his finger on the pulse there with what he's had to say. But as I say, they're all at it. And you're now going to hear from Sir Ed Davey. He's the Lib Dem leader. And this is part of his New Year message. So have a look and a listen at this.
Protecting our environment, fixing the NHS and social care, these are our battles. As well as standing up to Donald Trump and Elon Musk, taking the fight to Nigel Farage and winning. And we can win again in 2026 in Scotland, Wales and across England to stop Trump's America becoming Farage's Britain and change our country for the better. So from all of us at the Liberal Democrats, I hope you have a happy and hopeful new year. Let's make it a good one.
I'm not sure I'm happy or hopeful after listening to that, but...
He's your MP, isn't he?
No idea.
So relevant in your life.
No, it is. I mean, I don't vote. I mean, I don't think I can really do this job and then say somewhere, well, I have actually voted for him or her or whatever it happens to be. So I'd rather just stay above it, not vote for any of them. But anyway, what do you think of Ed Davey, and is anybody interested in what Ed Davey has to say?
Well, it's first of all interesting to see him deliver that message just in front of the Thames. I'm surprised not to see him in the Thames in a paddle suit. You know, you remember he comes out with all these kinds of things during election campaigns in a wetsuit and all the rest of it. You know,
he was wearing.
Well, that's enough to send people to A&E in itself, I think, having seen that. But I think you're right. No one is really going to be paying attention to a leader of a party who, no disrespect to him, it's just a fact, he's about fourth in the polls. So the idea that that's going to rejuvenate the country or people are going to take much of an interest, I think people are fed up of politicians saying what they're going to do. They just want them to get on and do the job.
Charlie, I think you've hit the nail on the head there. I mean, I'm a great believer in that. Stop telling me and stop lying to me, because that's what you are. You know this is not going to happen. Tell me something that is going to happen that you can change. And if it's not the politician's fault, it's the system's fault. I mean, I just think the system gets in the way and stops everybody doing anything.
Yeah, I think that's absolutely right. And there are far too many stories, whether it's the case of this chap that's got Egyptian dual citizenship, where the civil service didn't tell ministers about his tweets of the past. Well, hang about, you know, who are we blaming here? Is it the system? Is it politicians that should have known better? It was quite easy to find his tweets from journalists and others. So, you know, that's just one case in point, but you're right, you know, where there is waiting lists here, where the economy isn't growing, who's to blame? You know, the system seems to be stuck in its same old ways, which is why when you have somebody like Nigel Farage that comes along to say, I'm going to set up a Doge unit, so I'm actually going to get under the bonnet of local councils, the councils that he controls as Reform UK, and we're going to cut costs, we're going to save the taxpayer money. That's something that's a little bit exciting, and people might want to see that rolled out on a national level.
Let's see if it's any more exciting in Scotland. Here's the First Minister there, John Swinney.
Our public services, our charities and community groups, volunteers, families and friends, we are all here for each other. The holidays are the perfect time to reach out to those around us, to ring up an old friend or check on a neighbour. As Robert Burns said, to tack a cup of kindness so that we all come a little closer together. These are the things that make an area into a community. These are the things that make Scotland, Scotland.
Do they, Charlie? Make Scotland, Scotland? These, sorry, I forget.
Sorry, no,
you can't hear.
Yeah.
You can't hear. But anyway.
But the SNP, I mean, whatever John was saying, the SNP have got a mountain to climb, having been quite high up in the polls, and you know, Nicola Sturgeon was very good, I think, at trying to capitalise on things like independence again, perhaps during the COVID years. They've obviously taken a bit of a hit because of their leadership crisis since then, and you know, they will have a mountain to climb if they're going to hold on to Scotland in their Holyrood elections that are coming up this year.
Charlie, we'll cross back and forward to you throughout the programme. For the moment, thank you very much indeed. Charlie's had his say, you have your say.
Yeah, absolutely. gbnews.com/your say. Now, let's move on, because New Year travel plans have been thrown into absolute chaos for tens of thousands of people after a power outage on one of Europe's busiest rail routes. While some Eurostar services have now resumed, passengers heading from London to Europe are still facing severe delays and possible last-minute cancellations. So let's talk to the expert on travel disaster, Simon Corder, who is in London St Pancras for us. Simon.
Yeah, good morning, Dawn. Good morning, Eamonn. And I'm afraid for tens of thousands of Eurostar passengers, it hasn't been a good 24 hours at all. Trains are going to start running in about 17 minutes from now. They did resume late on yesterday, but we had 30 cancellations on trains linking London with Paris, Brussels and Amsterdam yesterday. We've had the first two trains of the day, London to Paris and then London to Amsterdam via Brussels, both cancelled. Those were notified in advance. And actually, the picture here at St Pancras is that relatively quiet. People are getting through. They will, I hope, be able to travel, unlike the scenes we saw yesterday where there were just behind me thousands of people desperately trying to get where they needed to be. I calculate 25,000 people are waking up this morning where they didn't intend to be as a result of the problems yesterday. Many of them were hoping to go away. I talked to lots of them yesterday on New Year breaks to Paris, Brussels or Amsterdam. They actually just abandoned those journeys. Others were coming into London, and actually talking to hoteliers around here, they had plenty of empty rooms because so many people from Paris, Brussels and Amsterdam cancelled, and those rooms were then filled with people who had to stay overnight and try and travel today. But looking at the car carrying operation as well, Eurotunnel between Folkestone and Calais, that operation, well, they said we're going to get back to normal by this morning, but I've just checked, and at the port of Calais, they are telling people coming back maybe from Christmas breaks, skiing trips, Disneyland holidays, they're saying expect to wait 6 hours before you're booked service. So I'm afraid it's a miserable picture, as you say, just awful at such an important time of year when everybody is so heavily invested in their trips that they're simply not able to travel because, well, bluntly, of power problems in the tunnel and the breakdown of a Le Shuttle train in the early hours of yesterday morning.
And Simon, I was reading also that because of these problems, as always happens, that the air companies have been bumping up their prices. So if you're lucky enough to get a flight, you need to get to Paris, you're paying double, sometimes treble what you should be paying.
Well, that's just the way things work. Algorithms, Dawn. If they detect a sudden surge in demand, then the prices go through the roof. To be fair, we actually saw Eurostar, we saw EasyJet putting on extra services yesterday. They, in order to try to help people out. And British Airways, well, they have some seats for today. They were selling at £625. But nobody forces you to buy at those prices. There were takers at that price because, well, frankly, people just desperately needed to get where they were going. I saw some horrible scenes yesterday, mostly French, Belgian, Dutch people trying to get home, as well as tourists who were just baffled about what was happening. And unfortunately, many of people who didn't intend to spend New Year's Eve in London will be doing so.
Well, as you well know, Simon, big companies, whether it be airlines or train companies or whatever, they're not very good at offering explanations as to what went wrong. So can I ask you just finally, who is to blame for this and what can you do about it? I saw a lot of interviews with people yesterday and they were saying roughly on average it was costing them about $3,000. They'd lost $3,000 on their holiday booking. Now, Eurostar have apologised and they've offered free rebooking. Imagine free. You won't cost you any money to rebook. Free rebooking, free refunds. Well, that's good of them. Or e-vouchers for affected travellers. What's your take on what you're entitled to, Simon?
Yeah, it's unfortunately not the same as air passenger rights rules at all. Some people, some lawyers I've spoken to say, yeah, actually, if you've got consequential losses, you can pursue Eurostar for them. But I think most people are simply going to be going for their travel insurance and seeing if that is going to get them any kind of compensation for the money they have lost.
Simon, I know you have places to go. Thank you very much indeed for bringing us up to date and bringing us the atmosphere there at St Pancras in London.
And Happy New Year, Simon. Thank you.
Happy New Year.
OK, well, I wonder what the weather's going to be doing for the New Year. That's the important thing tonight.
It was cold this morning.
Freezing,
yes,
really
it
cold.
was freezing. Here's Annie Shuttleworth.
Expect warm spells with the odd rude interruption. Boxed Boilers sponsors the weather on GB News.
Good morning, welcome to your latest GB News weather update, brought to you from the Met Office. It's a cold start to the final day of 2025, but there will be more in the way of sunshine out there if you are heading out on a New Year's Eve walk. But it's a frosty start. The frost may not clear across some northern areas. You can see that with the blue colours here on the map, and any mist and fog that's formed in the south and east could take a little while to clear as well. But once it does, there will be plenty of sunshine, in particular across England and Wales. Cloudier skies, though, starting to move into parts of Scotland in particular, with some strengthening winds as well. This will bring slightly milder conditions, but with a brisk wind near gale force winds, it's going to be a pretty unpleasant start to the Hogmanay celebrations, unfortunately, for much of Scotland. Some heavy downpours moving through as well. Should stay dry as we look further south towards Northern Ireland, as well as much of northern England and then into Wales and England. But there will be a lot of cloud around, a frost developing quite quickly across many southern areas, in particular once again into this evening. So you will want some layers if you are heading out for New Year's Eve celebrations. Now, as we head through the night on New Year's Eve, the winds will push down from the north, so that means snow showers will start to pile in across parts of northern Scotland in particular, to low levels initially, but we are expecting some snow, some high to lower levels later on to higher levels initially. And it's going to be a cold start to the day on New Year's Day. A warning is in force for snow and ice across northern areas of Scotland all the way until Friday. Further south, though, should remain relatively dry. There's a risk of the odd shower across parts of Wales and Northern Ireland. But for most of us, it should be a dry day to start 2026, but another chilly one, so you're definitely going to be wanting your hat and gloves. Have a great evening. Bye-bye.
Expect warm spells with the odd rude interruption. Boxed Boilers sponsors the weather on GB News.
Now, I'll tell you what we're going to do next. Yesterday, they made the announcement of the New Year's honours, and there were some, lovely, very deserving people there. And there were some people you might raise an eyebrow or two at about that. So we're going to decide. We're going to talk about, are they worthwhile? Would you accept one? Would you not accept one? If so, why not? And who decides whether you would get one or not?
Yeah, how does it work? I think Dame Dawn's got quite a nice ring to it, to be honest with you.
DD.
DD, yeah.
Double D.
Bit of alliteration.
I'll be back with Double D right after this.
Exciting news. Every Friday, my Patrick Christie's Tonight Show is going to have a twist to it. We're welcoming some special guests. You. That's right, on Fridays I'm going to be doing my show in front of a live studio audience, because this show is about you and what you have to say. It's going to be the same big debates, same big topics, same big opinions, but every Friday night at 9 p.m. you are invited to come on down to Patrick Christie's Tonight to be a part of the action. Only on GB News, the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
5 hosts, 5 opinions, 5 fearless debates,
5 unfiltered takes on the day's news.
5 reasons not to be anywhere else on Saturday night.
This is the Saturday 5.
You got me. You got me good there.
Britain's biggest Saturday night TV show.
It's not a bad brand.
Yeah. Uncensored.
Very, very racy tonight.
On the unpredictable.
What does she say? Can you translate it for us?
And always entertaining.
And how can a country go from being led by William Wallace to Saturday nights from 6 p.m. only on GB News, the People's Channel.
Britain's news channel.
You're going to want to stay tuned, trust me.
At GB News, we love to hear from you, our loyal community. So drop us a line at gbnews.com/your say. There you can talk to each other and also to the presenters live on air. gbnews.com/your say, because GB News is your channel, Britain's news channel.
Now, we're going to talk about the New Year's honours that were announced yesterday, and Dawn and I and Charlie are all here to talk about it. But just generally, everybody will have an opinion, Charlie, about whether these are worthwhile or not. I usually find the people that complain most are the ones who would like to be on the list but don't sort of get there. What do you think overall about how they're dispensed and who's on them and whatever?
Well, I think, look, they're a great thing. And when I was a special advisor, I was actually working in the Cabinet Office that is responsible for the honours system. And
how does it work? Go on.
So, people can nominate you. Ordinary people, you don't have to be...
So you could, nominate me?
I could, and in fact, I might do that straight after this. But I think it's a great thing, I mean, it can sometimes get distilled. We focus too much, I think, sometimes on the celebrity aspect and not, the local lollipop lady that's been there for 50 years.
I couldn't have said it better myself. And we had a guy yesterday... what's his name? That's my go. The mathematics teacher.
Bobby Seagull.
Bobby Seagull, the very boy. Oh, top man. And I think, really good that he got honoured for his support of libraries.
Yeah.
But anyway, honours expert Claire James joins us now. Claire, forgive us having a little indulgence there before we began. But basically, us three... well, look, I think they're definitely worthwhile. I've got one.
You've got one?
Not just any one. I've got an OPE. It's been, Dawn hasn't got one
yet.
Charlie, I think, would like one at some stage. Probably will get one. But what do you think about the way it's done at the moment, and should it be changed as to how we nominate people?
I mean, I think this year's list was actually, it was a great list. I really enjoyed this one. It tells a great story. There's broad representation in there. There's deep community values being reflected. There's a real focus on impact and culture and community over the usual traditional hierarchy. Of course, we've got the celebrities in there, but more often than not, 90% of the list, it's the volunteers, the community leaders, the carers and the campaigners and all those people that go above and beyond year after year, which means, they are still the priority on the list.
I'll tell you what I liked, Claire. Idris Elba becoming a knight. And I'll tell you why I like that, because it's my view, Charlie, that if you're an actor or an actress, you just have to eventually get over 50. And you'll get something automatically. You'll be deemed. But it's true. It's true. You look at them all. They all get it. But if they're in the acting world or whatever. But he's getting it, Claire. Correct me if I'm wrong. For his work with young people and preventing knife crime.
That's right. He actually, and what's little known about him, and this is what's interesting about celebrities receiving honours, most people think they are only receiving them because they're actors, but actually more often than not, they're doing humanitarian work or charity work. Idris founded the Elba Hope Foundation, which recognises, it centres on youth empowerment and community work, not nothing else. And so, yes, absolutely, he's doing a lot of work to tackle knife crime, which is, it's imperative work, but that's little discussed, isn't it? It's going to be his most recent movie role, usually, that they're going to focus on.
I mean, there were over 1,000 yesterday, I believe. I mean, how important are they these days? I mean, Idris will carry on doing his work for knife crime and youngsters, whether he had a ward or not. So how important actually are they in today's society?
Well, do you know, the honours, they've been around for a very, very long time. You know, they've been around for over 100 years. They're a real pillar of British culture. And I think in a world where everything's moving so quickly, social media is taking over, and actually even celebrity culture is, you know, is very, very prominent. It's really, I think, lovely to have something where we can celebrate twice a year those ordinary, extraordinary people, day in, day out, that might not be on social media, that are completely unsung. We wouldn't know they were doing it otherwise. And I think it's a really positive time of year, and it's a really positive opportunity to celebrate those people.
Would you disagree with that, Charlie? I agree with what Claire's saying there, and I think it's a reminder, even for the people themselves, to say, do you know what? You're a special person.
Yeah, I think that's absolutely what it's about. And look, you know, if you've done something for a long, long time, that you've been, you know, the silent hero in society, you know, you've gone about your day, you've helped people, you've been a charity worker, but you don't shout about it from the rooftops, you don't post with a selfie every 5 seconds showing people what you're doing. You just get on and do it, and you help people, and you're rewarded in a way in which I think should be a very, very proud and special day for that individual and their family.
It certainly was. Claire, thank you very much indeed. I know you're an honours expert. Do you have an honour, Claire?
Not yet. I'm working on that also.
Top woman. Good luck to you. Good luck to you. Thank you very much indeed, and Happy New Year to you.
New Year.
Happy New Year. Thank you.
Do you use yours, Eamonn? Do you sort of like, you know, when you sort of like send an email or a letter or something, do you have your...
No, I wouldn't. But interesting, I noticed that television, it seems to be a rule within television that if you appear on something, they put the OBE or MBE after your name. But I've never asked for that or insisted in that. But when I become a lord or a knight, I would probably insist on it then.
Is that's the next ambition you're going to be?
Well, you know,
sir.
Just waiting for that to come along.
Do I have to curtsy to you then?
Genuflect. Genuflect would be the word.
Absolutely.
Thank you very much indeed. Thank you. Charlie, be staying with us throughout the whole programme. But now it's time for the Great British Giveaway. And boy, it is great. Have a go.
It is a good one.
We want to make the new year your best year yet, with a chance to win our greatest cash prize to date. A simply stunning £85,000 in tax-free cash could be yours. Cash to splash on anything you can dream of. Treat the family to that bucket list holiday you've always fancied. Get your dream car you've always wanted. Or just relax, safe in the knowledge that the coming year is on us. £85,000 is the biggest cash prize we've ever given away. It's totally tax-free, which means that every single penny of it will be yours. For another chance to win £85,000 cash, text cash to 63225. One entry costs £2.50 plus one standard network rate message. Or text bonus to 63225. 5 entries cost £5 plus one standard network rate message. Go to gbnews.com/win. Entries start at £2.50. Call 0903 686 3232. Calls cost £2.50 plus your network access charge. Or post your name and number to GB18 PO Box 8690 Derby DE1 9TT. UK only. Entrance must be 18 or over. Lines close at 4 p.m. on the 30th of January. The winner may be contacted live on GB News, week commencing the 9th of February 2026. Please check the closing time if listening or watching on demand. Good luck.
Good luck indeed. That'd be a cracking New Year, wouldn't it?
Oof.
What would you do with that, eh?
No problem.
Well.
What I'd do with it, yeah. No hassle. Coming up to 33 minutes past the hour of 6 o'clock. Hope your day's going well, if you're up and at it. And if you want to sit back and have a cup of tea and have a bit of a think, here's our daily reflection.
The GB News 12 Days of Christmas, Day 7.
Hello, my name is Nimsa Bunge, and I'm the pastor of Freedom's Ark, meeting here in the Tottenham Town Hall, and a member of the Evangelical Alliance. As we celebrate New Year's Eve, I'm reminded of Luke chapter 2, verse 19, where may we ponder these things in our heart. And over this last year, we've had moments of great joy, moments of challenges, some of fear, and some maybe a mix of all of these things. And things we have pondered so deeply in our hearts about how the year has panned out might continue to rest in many of our thoughts. But there's also a sense of expectation that 2026 would be yet greater, that 2026 would be a year where we will encounter things that we had not anticipated. And my prayer is that as you enter into this new year, As you enter into this new season, a new day will dawn for each one of us, and that we'll encounter 2026 with a sense of courage, a sense of expectation, a sense that greater things lie ahead, and that we would have the ability to overcome the fears that might say certain things might not happen. So I pray in this new year that the God of all the years will be present with you as you enter into a new season. Let us pray. Heavenly Father, God of all courage, God of all wisdom, God of all strength, would you be present with each one of us and give us a greater year than the year we have had in the years past. In Jesus' name, amen. Happy New Year, everybody.
Well, he was very funky. From Tottenham. Yeah, love that.
Get you to reflect.
Reflect, yes. Not genuflect for Lord Eamonn or Sir Eamonn or where are we?
I do like? I do like a hat.
I like a hat.
But every time you wear a hat, people laugh at you.
No, that's just you, Eamonn, actually. It's not everybody.
No, I'll tell you what I would suit. You know the way in Dallas, JR and Bobby and whatever, they would have, they'd have a suit, shirt and tie.
Yeah.
And then a Stetson on top of that. That's a
that looks
good
pretty
look.
cool.
I like that.
Yeah, yeah.
I could live in Dallas.
Yeah, I'd like a Barrow Boy flat cap. I think that's probably more me, to be honest with you.
Up next, find out why millions of people may soon be eligible for cash to install solar panels, heat pumps and other environmentally friendly devices to their homes, OK? Jennifer Powers and Norman Baker will be discussing that and all the other stories that tickle their fancies right after this, back after this.
Good morning, this is the latest AI travel news from gbnews.com. On the M8 westbound, expect restrictions at junction 28A on the off-slip after a collision. On Northamptonshire's M1 northbound, all lanes are closed between junction 14 and 15 near Milton Keynes after a crash. Conditions should improve around 9. In Gloucestershire, the M5 southbound is slow between junction 13 and 14 after an incident, with one lane shut. Recovery is expected around 7. And on the trains, Avanti West Coast has engineering work between Milton Keynes Central and Northampton or Rugby, with disruption via Nuneaton, while Cross Country has engineering work in the Cambridge area, and delays between Doncaster and Sheffield. For more travel news, go to gbnews.com.
I'm Michelle Dewberry, this is Jubes & Co with you.
Hello everyone, Patrick Christie is here to GB News.
Britain's news channel.
Access the stories that matter to you. Take the GB News family with you on any device. And as long as you have an internet connection. Tune in to GB News, anywhere on the planet or beyond. GB News, the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
From the school run to the home run, watch a new show for all of Britain.
So he can say whatever he wants.
A straight talking show where all voices are heard.
And, you know, when are we going to stop talking about smashing the gangs and actually do it?
With the stories that matter from every part of our country.
There's a bit of a crash landing there for your Chancellor.
Bold, fearless and standing up for you. That's me, Martin Daubney, 3 p.m. till 6 p.m, weekdays, here only on GB News. The People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Westminster's full of talk, but out here, it's the real world.
Am I allowed to talk
No,
now?
that's it. This is where it matters, real people and real lives. That's what politics is all about.
In fact, has Trump made a good start? No.
Straight answers, no spin, and just a couple of pints.
How many fingers have I got up?
About 10. So join me for Lee Anderson's Real World every Friday at 7 p.m, only on GB News. The People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
You want to know what's really going on in the corridors of power? Labour don't know what to do with you half the time, and that makes you quite lethal in the chamber. Get behind the headlines with Chopper's Political Podcast. Join me, Christopher Hope, as I sit down with the great and the good of British politics. We'll see where this ruling takes us. These are the stories shaping our nation. Chopper's Political Podcast, available now on all platforms. Listen in and stay ahead.
Decisions made in Washington aren't just shaping America, they're shaping Britain too. From migration to global security, from crime to health. Whatever happens in the White House today
will be felt in your town or city tomorrow.
That's why The Late Show is live from Washington, D.C.
Cutting through the politics to show you what it all means for Britain.
The Late Show live every night at midnight.
Only on GB News,
Britain's news channel.
Bold. They are under no illusion.
Ray.
Are you a human trafficker?
Boundless. I've had enough of the nonsense, and I'm not afraid to say it.
Don't get this on the BBC.
Every weeknight, I tear through the headlines.
The smell of gasoline. Should we be worried about it?
From Westminster madness to cultural war chaos.
What I'm going to do now, they are throwing things out the car as we speak.
Get ready, Britain. Here we go. Patrick Christie tonight, weeknights from 9 p.m. only on GB News, Britain's news channel.
We've got Jennifer and we've got Norman. They've got the papers in front of them.
Powers. My surname is Powers.
Powers, not Bowles. It was nice.
Where did that come from?
I don't know, but I just saw it there at the last second, and I thought maybe I'll not.
Thank you for catching.
Yeah.
Kind. Yeah.
Not at all. I wonder, would you see? I would be quite good if I was dealing with your train problem, you know, in Eurostar or whatever.
Oh yeah, you're a details man.
I sympathise with people because being a regular passenger, Norman, I always want to know what is the problem, how long will we wait, and the trouble is the staff don't know, and they never told them whether it's airlines or whether it's trains or whatever. But what do you make of what is going on? With
well, you're quite right to say that what people want is information, and they'll tolerate almost any situation if they know the situation, and then they can plan accordingly. If the line's down for 10 hours, they can go and do something else. They just want to know what's happening, and they don't always know what's happening. I mean, every train from Eurostar appeared to be cancelled yesterday, and this is down to an overhead failure, an overhead line failure, which is the power source for the trains. And obviously, if the power source is ended, the train can't progress. So, and if it's happening in a tunnel, which I think it was, then obviously you have to get people into the tunnel to sort this out. So it's a complicated matter. I gather things are back to normal today, largely, or will be back to normal today, which is good news for people who want to travel. I think it does show us a couple of things. One is that huge number of people are now using Eurostar because it's a very good service normally, and St Pancras is packed out anyway every day, never mind on days like this. But secondly, one little thing can go wrong and it can affect the whole system quite dramatically. However, I want to give...
What a day for it to go wrong as well.
What a day to go wrong. But there's some good news. I want to bring in some good news for people who've had enough of cancellations, which is that the government is actually having a rail sale, half price or more tickets for the next week. So you can go and buy your advance tickets. For example, you can get from Exeter to London, Waterloo, for £10 if you buy a ticket. So I would ask people to go and buy tickets on advanced sales because you get some really good bargains next week.
Well, let's hope all the engineering works are finished by then, Jennifer.
Indeed.
Because notoriously over this time of year there are no trains because the engineering works. I mean,
well, it might be why the prices have put on sale. That it's just 17 hours to get to Exeter or back. So check the small print before we take Norman's advice to book those advance tickets.
Yeah. Okay. Right. Okay. Here's just what I wanted to ask you as well here, Jennifer. I'm seeing the front page of the Times today. Britain has suffered the worst investment levels in the G7, prompting Labour MPs to head out at Rachel Reeves again for driving down business confidence with broken commitments.
Yeah, and this isn't a surprise. We've seen those investment figures declining for the past year and a bit now. And, you know, there's this gap between the rhetoric of the government, which talks about growth, which talks about the importance of investment, and the reality of what they bring in, whether that is, you know, on the grassroots side, the raise in minimum wage and the living wage, which sound great in practice, but really dampen down on hiring. We've got the employment rights bill coming in that's going to make it more costly to employ people in this country. We've had huge tax rises that national insurance and things that have impacted the hospitality and the retail sectors in particular. And if we think about the investment front, well, you know, we don't have as competitive corporation tax as we could. You know, the signals that Labour has, they're keeping with net zero, they're keeping with a lot of the environmental regulation, which a lot of people feel is gold-plated. Our debt it's just huge and growing. And so the public finances are not sound. And so when, companies, especially AI and tech companies, they have a choice about where they're going to invest. And they may see places like the US as much better bets.
Norman, just quickly, we're running out of time. You've been in politics. You understand how this works. Why aren't the government listening? I mean, the front pages all the time, people are not happy, down in the polls. Are they not listening, or do they not care?
I don't think they're very good politicians, to be frank about it. I know that sounds very glib, but I think it's true.
No, I agree with you.
Keir Starmer was not a politician, he's a bureaucrat. He was the Director of Public Prosecutions. Rachel Reeves isn't a politician, she worked in the bank. And you have to understand politics in order to do politics.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Understand what you're saying. Coming up to 6:45. Going to take a short break and we'll be back with the guys again right after this.
Ready to soak up that holiday sunshine?
Won't we need some cover?
No worries. All sorted.
All Clear Travel Insurance sponsors GB News Travel Destinations Forecast.
Hello, are you heading away for the new year? Well, there is some unsettled weather, some cold weather across Europe, in fact. Storm Francis is bringing some very wet weather to the Canaries through New Year's Day and into the weekend, as well as parts of Spain and Portugal. Comparatively drier for more central areas, though it is colder than it usually is at this time of year. The good news is, though, as it turns colder for the UK, it will slowly start to warm up into next week in the east. Bye-bye.
All Clear Travel Insurance sponsors GB News Travel Destinations Forecast.
At GB News, we love to hear from you, our loyal community. So drop us a line at gbnews.com/yoursay. There you can talk to each other and also to the presenters live on air. gbnews.com/yoursay, because GB News is your channel, Britain's news channel.
Sir Jacob Rees-Mogg's State of the Nation, Monday to Thursday from 8 p.m.
What I've discovered is that a comet that was observed by the Chinese in 5 BC, I put together the information from their observation to come up with an orbit that would take this particular comet very, very close to the Earth. And as it passed the Earth, probably about the distance to the moon, a position on the rotating Earth would have seen the comet pause for a period of hours over a location. We have the same thing now with the geosynchronous satellite. If you stand at the equator, there are geosynchronous satellites that stay over your head 24/7. This comet was so close to the Earth that it would have had the brightness of like a first quarter or full moon. So it would have been clearly visible in the daylight.
So it would have been easier for them to follow. And how quickly would they have had to have travelled? Could they have travelled fast enough to keep up with it?
Well, it would have been a direction. So it turns out it takes 2 or 3 hours to walk from Jerusalem to Bethlehem. It's a relatively short distance. And that's the period of time where it behaved like this for those few hours. So there was the time available. Now, of course, their trip from the east, it would have taken many weeks. And the Chinese said the comet was visible in the constellation Capricorn for more than 70 days. And it's that appearance in one constellation for an extended period. Pilots know this. If you see an object in the sky while you're flying a plane, and it's not moving left, right, or up, down, it's actually on a collision course, or nearly so, with you. So the comet was heading more or less directly towards the Earth until, at least in my theory, they arrived in Jerusalem and walked that distance from Jerusalem to Bethlehem.
GB News, the People's Channel.
Join me, Nana Akwe, for an informative, interactive news programme with a difference. It's fun.
No, he didn't say that, Dave.
I'm so surprised.
I think there's an element of truth to that.
Join me from 3 p.m. every weekend, only on GB News, Britain's news channel.
In the GB Newsroom, we bring you the news as it happens.
With our team of dedicated journalists across the UK,
we're ready to keep you up to date with what's happening every half an hour, every single day. Bulletins here on GB News,
the People's Channel,
Britain's news channel.
Good morning, welcome back. We're going through the papers now with Norman and Jennifer, and a story that is going to get all of you annoyed. Front page of the Express today. Shamima Begum, meddling Euro judges take on Shamima case. Jennifer.
Yes, well, this saga just doesn't want to end. We've had the European Court of Human Rights getting involved, saying that they want to hear from the British government as to what decisions they took and why, and the evidence base that they used to justify their decisions with regard to her citizenship. And her lawyers are understandably pleased that this gives another opportunity to look things over.
What's it got to do with the EU?
Well, as we are...
It's not the EU, actually, it's the ECHR.
We're still signatories of the European Convention of Human Rights, and that is upheld in member states by the European Court of Human Rights. So that's why, and for anyone who may have forgotten, this is about Shamima, who was born and grew up in Bethnal Green and went to support ISIS when she was 15 years old with a couple of school friends. Married an ISIS fighter and remains in Syria, a Syrian detention camp.
But what we're seeing here, Jennifer, with Shamima Begum, surely we would then see with Mr. El Fattah, we're talking about revoking his citizenship as well. But this is a sign of things to come if that was attempted, surely.
Oh, I'm sure there would be much back and forth with the courts. I mean, we know that AI may come and take all of our jobs, but the lawyers, I'm sure, will be the last ones to give up, because the court battles are endless. So you're quite right. Although it is interesting in this case, the government did go as far as to strip her of her citizenship.
And the thing is, Norman, with the El Fattah case, he is an Egyptian citizen as well, so he wouldn't be rendered stateless if we did remove his British citizenship.
Well, I understand that he's got to apply for citizenship, and I may have got that wrong, but I thought he's not citizenship granted in Egypt yet, but he could apply for it. And there's a race on as to whether or not he becomes British or Egyptian first, as I understand it. But the fact of the matter is that taking away citizenship is a very, very serious business. It's the last thing you do to somebody, and you certainly can't take it away if you leave someone stateless. That's completely improper, I think, to do that. So the question is, what is the bar at which point you take someone's citizenship away? Now, Mr. Al Fattah, who I've got no time for, by the way, is basically saying that he called for Zionists to be killed, which is a horrible thing to do. I don't think that's a citizenship matter myself. I think that's a matter for prosecuting him for hate speech. That's what should happen to him. And there's plenty of laws which can deal with that sort of attitude, and it should be invoked against him. But taking away citizenship is a very, very strong and ultimate step to take.
Jennifer, here's a story. It's front page of the Daily Telegraph today, and it's going to interest a lot of our audience who are former forces as well. And the accusation is that the government risks destroying Britain's special forces by dragging soldiers through the courts.
Yes, it is quite right. Here on the front page of the Telegraph, they're quite a big piece. And this is about the Labour government declining to implement the previous Conservative government's Legacy Act, which exempted members of the armed forces from prosecution if they served in the Troubles in Northern Ireland. And so, it was a huge effort over very many years by campaigners to bring in such a law. Johnny Mercer, who's previous veterans minister, was really passionate about it. Obviously, there's two sides to the story, in that some people feel very strongly that some of those soldiers should be held to account, even all those years later. But this was brought in by the previous government, and Labour has said that they will not be implementing it. And so this is the concerted campaign to put pressure on Labour to change their mind. We've had, I think it's 7 former SAS commanders come out and put their names to this letter, saying that that it puts their colleagues at risk. I also think it's beyond that. It could hit recruitment and retention, because obviously these are really dangerous jobs, and you don't want to be in that situation. Do you want to sign yourself up for that sort of danger if you might be prosecuted in future for decisions you take?
Yeah, why would you sign up to go and fight for the country if a few years down the line you can get prosecuted for murder?
But you can stay within the remits of the law. You don't have to. I mean, if you murder someone, you murder someone.
Well, look, I mean, I don't know whether, in fact, offences were committed which gratuitous and merit this sort of prosecution. What I would say is there clearly is an impact on morale. And secondly, this is all a long time ago. The Troubles are, by and large, quite a long time ago. And I think there is a point beyond which you say, you know, that's now past, that's history.
The only thing I would say, Norman, is it's not a long time ago to the families that live on with their fathers and their uncles having been murdered and whatever. It is very, very complicated. It's not easy.
No, it's
and
not.
I totally take Dawn's point of view that you signed up to protect the country. Who's protecting you, sort of thing.
Yeah,
guys, for the moment, thank you very much indeed. The guys are going to be back in about 45 minutes' time.
Yeah, and we'll be back after this quick look at the weather.
Warm and cosy, with a chance of zero visibility. Boxed Boiler sponsors the weather on GB News.
Good morning, welcome to your latest GB News weather update, brought to you from the Met Office. It's a cold start to the final day of 2025, but there will be more in the way of sunshine out there if you are heading out on a New Year's Eve walk. But it's a frosty start. The frost may not clear across some northern areas. You can see that with the blue colours here on the map. And any mist and fog that's formed in the south and east could take a little while to clear as well. But once it does, there will be plenty of sunshine, in particular across England and Wales. Cloudier skies, though, starting to move into parts of Scotland in particular, with some strengthening winds as well. This will bring slightly milder conditions, but with a brisk wind near gale force winds, it's going to be a pretty unpleasant start to the Hogmanay celebrations, unfortunately, for much of Scotland. Some heavy downpours moving through as well. Should stay dry as we look further south towards Northern Ireland, as well as much of Northern England and then into Wales and England. But there will be a lot of cloud around, a frost developing quite quickly across many southern areas, in particular once again into this evening. So you will want some layers if you are heading out for New Year's Eve celebrations. Now, as we head through the night on New Year's Eve, the winds will push down from the north, so that means snow showers will start to pile in across parts of northern Scotland in particular, to low levels initially, but we are expecting some snow, some high to lower levels later on to higher levels initially. And it's going to be a cold start to the day on New Year's Day. A warning is in force for snow and ice across northern areas of Scotland all the way until Friday. Further south, though, should remain relatively dry. There's a risk of the odd shower across parts of Wales and Northern Ireland. But for most of us, it should be a dry day to start 2026, but another chilly one, so you're definitely going to be wanting your hat and gloves. Have a great evening. Bye-bye.
Warm and cosy, with a chance of zero visibility. Boxed Boiler sponsors the weather on GB News.
Thank you for making us Britain's #1 news channel. Together, we have built something truly extraordinary.
Good morning, this is the latest AI travel news from gbnews.com. The A83 is restricted both ways at Locknell Street in Lochgilphead due to emergency roadworks. The A4042 is closed in both directions from Mamilad to Little Mill following an incident. On the M5 southbound between Junction 13 and Junction 14, a crash has shut one of 3 lanes, with normal conditions expected from 7:15 to 7:30 this morning. And on the trains, Avanti West Coast has major engineering work between Milton Keynes Central and Northampton or Rugby, with disruption via Nuneaton, while Cross Country is reporting major engineering work around Cambridge and disruption between Doncaster and Sheffield. For more travel news, go to gbnews.com.
This is your chance to become our biggest cash prize winner to date. £85,000 in totally tax-free cash could be making its way from our bank account to yours. It would be like having over £7,000 per month extra to play with, each month for a whole year. That could be you, safe in the knowledge that 2026 is on us. For another chance to win £85,000 cash, text cash to 63225. One entry costs £2.50 plus one standard network rate message, or text bonus us to 63225. 5 entries cost £5 plus 1 standard network rate message. Go to gbnews.com/win. Entries start at £2.50. Call 0903 686 3232. Calls cost £2.50 plus your network access charge. Or post your name and number to GB18 PO Box 8690 Derby DE1 9TT. UK only. Entrance must be 18 or over. Lines close at 4 p.m. on the 30th of January. Please check the closing time if listening or watching on demand.
Britain was once the envy of the world. But look around. A nation that no longer knows what it is or where it's going. A country that's broken. How do we fix Britain? How do we bring it back? Friday night with Matt Goodwin at 8 p.m. only on GB News.
No matter the state it's in, this is our nation. Join me, Jacob Rees-Mogg, for a genuine, honest discussion on where we have been, where we are going, and where we are with the people who set the direction. Tune in to State of the Nation every Monday to Thursday, 8 to 9 o'clock. Only on GB News.
Britain deserves a newsroom that puts the facts and your voice first.
Well, and that's what you get on GB News. Lively debates, lively conversation.
And we're not afraid to hold power to account.
And each other. So join me, Andrew Pierce.
And me, Miriam Cates, for Britain's Newsroom, weekdays from 9:30 on GB News.
Good morning. A Reform UK leader, Nigel Farage, has released his New Year's message.
We may well be the last chance this country has to actually restore some proper values. Those of family, community, country, the ones upon which I based this party when I founded it in the very beginning.
Mr. Farage says Reform is the only party offering hope and change ahead of the local elections. Do you agree?
Meanwhile, Lib Dem leader Sir Ed Davey delivers his New Year's message too.
Protecting our environment, fixing the NHS and social care, these are our battles. As well as standing up to Donald Trump and Elon Musk, taking the fight to Nigel Farage and winning. And we can win again in 2026.
Things getting back to normal this morning in the Eurotunnel. Tens of thousands of people who were expecting to travel on Eurostar yesterday are absolutely furious, though. They've woken up in cities where they did not expect to be. We've got the full story.
And swamped by sniffles. Millions of patients seek help in A&E departments for minor conditions like headaches, coughs, hiccups and constipation. Meanwhile, the government invests in 500 new ambulances.
£55 million this year, over £400 million over the next 4 years to make sure we've got a modern, effective fleet that provides safety for patients, efficiency and comfort for the crew.
And that was the Health Secretary, Wes Streeting, announcing those 500 new ambulances, and they will be deployed across England. Officials call it the biggest upgrade to the ambulance fleet in recent years.
And New Year, New You. From fitness goals to starting a new hobby, are New Year's resolutions a powerful motivator, or do they just set us up to fail?
OK, there's a lot of music channels which will be no more. From today, MTV Music, MTV 80s, MTV 90s and Club MTV, basically anything with MTV in the title, will be taken off air today as people shift towards streaming services. If you can tell the difference, let us know. And is it time for traditional TV? I never thought I'd call MTV traditional TV, but there we go. We're debating that and the whole situation of TV and your view of it.
And behind the New Year celebrations, pubs face a £32,000 business rates hit, and punters are warned that the price of their next pint is set to surge.
Good morning. It's another cold but sunny start out there as we head into the new year. Snow is on the way. You can find out all the details with me a little later on.
I'd just like to say hello, good morning, however you're watching, however you're listening. I'm Eamonn Holmes.
And I'm Dawn Neeson, and this is indeed GB News Breakfast.
Now, this MTV business, and they were talking about viewing figures over Christmas for the traditional terrestrial channels, and that's all down. And the thing is, people just don't know where to watch TV, how to get TV, if they've even got that channel or not. And I've seen lots of good dramas and things. It was very good. This is typical of me, right? It's a very good drama on, I think it was Netflix.
Right.
And it was a Western. And it had, what's her name from the X-Files in it?
Gillian,
what's her name?
Yep.
And she was very, very good in it. And there was another lady, anyway, they were the two leads in it. And there were 8 episodes of it, and it was fantastic. Don't know what it's called, don't know what channel you get it on. But that's the thing. There's just too many channels.
This is the problem. It's like, you know, you read about something, you go, oh, I really want to watch that. What was it on again?
Yes.
And it's
Who
like,
was in it?
I can never remember.
What was it called?
And you know, younger folk, Eamonn, because there are younger folk than us, just, obviously. They're not watching TV full stop. They're doing everything on their phones, on their laptops, or...
They do.
I mean, you know, my niece, I mean, she just got a phone in her hand all the time.
Yeah.
To be honest with you. So it is, I mean, it is changing. And MTV now has been around for a long time, and it is a traditional TV.
You see, I found myself over Christmas watching certain things by accident, but really class. Even though I've seen these before, I thought, that's really good. One of which is the best... not exactly Western, but the best music ever on a Western, and that's The Magnificent Seven.
Oh, that's good, yeah.
Right, that's good. So saw that. Can't tell you what channel. I saw, what else did I see? Oh, yes, on BBC Two, they had best film star of all time, really, Cary Grant in North by Northwest. Alfred Hitchcock
They are
film.
absolute classics. I mean, we've got Charlie Rowley in the studio with us, who is slightly younger than both of us. I mean, Charlie, do you have any idea what Eamonn's even talking about with some of these films?
Some, but I have to say, I might appear younger, but my Christmas viewing was on some of the Carry On films. I love them.
Oh, well,
Carry On classics. Like
you starred in most of them.
They'll be restricted. There'll be trigger warnings.
Trigger warnings, I know.
There'll be
Carry On campaigns.
There's Braziers.
Yeah, exactly.
So good. That was so classic, though, wasn't it?
It's not Christmas without a Carry On.
No, that's true.
But anyway, MTV... Well, you'll not be able to watch.
I was watching a lot of GB News over the Christmas break in any case, but let us know what you were watching and what you want to talk about. gbnews.com/your sale, scan the QR code thingy.
I do have to say, the GB News carols by candlelight...
That was lovely. You look gorgeous as well in your red scarf. I was holding the fort here for you. But no, and I can't sing either, so I don't hate anyone enough to sing.
Let's talk about Nigel Farage, and he had his message. This is New Year message. He's not alone on this front, but he went on the attack on the government and previous governments and the handling of what we're going to do with the British-Egyptian activist Mr. El Fattah returning back to this country.
Yeah, the Foreign Secretary, Yvette Cooper, has ordered a review of serious information failures concerning the case.
Well, take a listen to what he had to say.
If we go on voting for the same old parties, I promise you, nothing will change. Think, just in the last few days, of the El Fattah case. Here's a guy that's come out of Egypt, come back to Britain, who's put out just the most abominable, hateful tweets about killing Jews, killing white people, fighting the police. And this man was given citizenship by the Conservative Party and welcomed back into Britain by the Labour Party. Frankly, there is little to choose between the two. We're the people offering hope. We're the people offering change. And 2025 showed you, with those county elections, which we won comfortably, what we are capable of. As we look forward to 2026, we have a massive set of elections. The whole of Scotland, the whole of Wales, all 32 London boroughs, county elections, thousands of council seats all over the country. And yet what are we now seeing? We're seeing a Labour government saying to those councils, if you want to cancel the elections, in some cases for the second year in a row, you can do so. And already, East and West Sussex, controlled by the Conservatives, have said, thank you very much, we'll cancel the elections. That is the kind of authoritarian country that we are now living in. They're even beginning to take away our right to vote. Well, they'll cancel some, but most of those elections will go ahead. They will be the single most important set of elections between now and the next general election. I'll make this prediction. If Reform win those elections, if we come top, it'll put us way ahead of the other parties. Already we've led for 175 opinion polls in a row. Our average lead is 10%. If we get this right on May the 7th this year, we will go on and win that general election. We will then absolutely have a chance of genuinely, fundamentally changing the whole system of government in Britain. We may well be the last chance this country has to actually restore some proper values, those of family, community, country, the ones upon which I based this party when I founded it in the very beginning. But we cannot do this without you, and you will not get the change you want without us. So let me ask you one thing. Please make it your New Year's resolution to do something. Support reform, join reform, go out and spread the message that we are the party of hope, we are the party of change, and we are, genuinely, the last chance for Britain.
Well, what do you think of that reaction we're getting in here? Very, very positive towards Nigel Farage. Susan saying, what a fantastic New Year message from him. He's so much gravitas. He sounds so statesmanlike. The other leaders can't hold a candle to him. And you'll be able to judge that shortly because we'll show you other leaders' messages in a moment.
Yeah, meanwhile, Tina has said Nigel Farage is the only leader who offers a new, fresh approach to leading the country instead of the same old thing, which clearly isn't working. And what is interesting this year, Eamonn, is that the Reform's support has now seen them have more paid-up members than any other political party in the country. Might not have that many MPs, but they've actually overtaken Labour. Mind you, since Labour came into power under Keir Starmer, Labour's paid-up membership has halved. It's gone down from 500,000 to 250,000. So.
Well, let's get the views now of political commentator Charlie Riley on this before we go into what Ed Davey is and John Swinnear may be saying. Well, what did you think of Nigel Farage?
Well, I thought it was a very, very strong message, and I was listening to Norman, who was doing your paper review earlier on. He was critical of the Prime Minister and Rachel Reeves because he said they're not politicians, they don't know how to do politics, which I think he's absolutely right. And if there's one guy that seems to know how to do the politics, it's Nigel Farage. You know, the way in which he can communicate to lots of people, tap into their worries, their fears, legitimately so, because there's a lot of gloom around. But to be able to put a bit of a positive spin on it with hope and change and saying, look, you know, vote for reform. Things can get better. We can turn things around, but only if you look to the alternative party, which is reform now, and not look at Labour and Tories, who seem to be one of the same.
The thing is with that message, Charlie, and I totally agree that it is positive, Labour came in doing that as well. They came in and said, we are the party of change, we are going to be positive, we're going to make your lives much better. So it's all words for now. What we want is action.
Well, and that's what voters demand and should expect. And I think he will use the successful set of elections that he had, I think it was this year, whether it was the local council elections, the ones that did go ahead. He will say, look at what reform councils are doing. And he's obviously very upset that there are some elections that are going to be cancelled next year.
Yes.
But he's making the case to say, look what we're doing in reform. That's the alternative, what other councils, whether they're Tory, Labour, Lib Dem, Green, a rainbow coalition of all kinds of sorts.
The subject of Lib Dem, Sir Ed Davey, the leader there, he was standing by the banks of the Thames. He wasn't surfboarding or swimming or bungee jumping in it or anything else. But he released his message. This is what he had to say.
Protecting our environment, fixing the NHS and social care, these are our battles. As well as standing up to Donald Trump and Elon Musk, taking the fight to Nigel Farage and winning. And we can win again in 2026 in Scotland, Wales and across England to stop Trump's America becoming Farage's Britain and change our country for the better. So from all of us at the Liberal Democrats, I hope you have a happy and hopeful new year. Let's make it a good one.
Charlie, it's quite easy to dismiss Ed Davey for all the stunts he pulled last time, you know, with the surfboarding and all that thing. But they have got over 70 MPs, whereas Nigel Farage has still only got 5.
Yeah, no, that's an absolutely fair point. And I think, you know, the Lib Dems gained in particular areas in the southwest where the Conservative vote completely collapsed and capitulated. You know, the Tories got an absolute kicking at the last election. So that's where the Lib Dems were able to pick up those seats. And Reform, I think, since gaining those what I think was originally 4 or 5 seats that they've now got. People are looking at them ever more closely. But the one thing that I think people will really want to focus on is about things like what Ed Davies said at the start about the NHS and social care. Nobody cares about. They don't want to hear a political leader banging on about Elon Musk or Donald Trump. Whatever your views are, that's not going to change. They're not going to have that much influence on the UK domestic political arena. So if you spend your time as a leader of a political party just criticising Donald Trump, he's not going to be here in 3 years' time anyway. His term will come to an end.
Well, let's
you're missing the priority.
what John Swinney, First Minister of Scotland, is criticising. Well, here's his message.
Our public services, our charities and community groups, volunteers, families and friends, we are all here for each other. The holidays are the perfect time to reach out to those around us, to ring up an old friend or check on a neighbour. As Robert Burns said, to tack a cup of kindness so that we all come a little closer together. These are the things that make an area into a community. These are the things that make Scotland, Scotland.
OK, Charlie, obviously it's a huge year for politics. We have got elections all over the country, Scotland, Wales and many, and if they're not cancelled, obviously, many local authorities as well. So these messages actually are more important this year than they are normally.
Yes, yeah, you could argue that. I mean, I wasn't quite sure what John's pitch was there, apart from calling up, a friend in Scotland and making sure that they're OK. I mean, I might be doing that later. If you're on to the be nice to people. What are the SNP offering? You want to be able to go into the new year, I think, with a positive platform, with a message to say, look, this year we are going to, deal with the drugs epidemic that might be in Glasgow. We're going to deal with the transport system that's may or may not have collapsed. What are the ideas of these people? We don't need to hear from, Auntie about, just be kind to people. That's not what politics is about. It's about doing things and changing the country for the better, having a vision.
I try to be kind. And here's something that I want to talk to the two of you about, and that is London. Now, I've lived in Manchester, and I've lived in Newcastle, and lovely, Belfast is the best place in the world and whatever, and the people are all very friendly, right? People talk easily. It's not the same in London. I mean, you're a particular type of London person. He's a gentleman and a scholar. But so many people just don't talk to you. Now, this morning, I was waiting for the lift downstairs, pressed the button, the door opened, and there's a guy standing there in the lift on his own. And I said, that was great timing, wasn't it? That was good. And he looked at me like, what are you talking to me for, sort of thing. And I said, what are you doing today, New Year's Eve, whatever. Didn't answer me, walked away. It could have been maybe he spoke a different language or what, I don't know. That's the way it is.
I think it's a bit of a myth that people in London aren't that friendly.
Oh, they're not friendly.
Oh, come on.
Listen, I'm telling you, I can speak for 40 years of living here, and they do not speak to you the way people in the other parts of the country do.
I imagine he might have been starstruck by you, Eamonn. I think that's what it might have been.
But he had any idea.
But I do think you're right, though. I think if you take a trip outside of London, I'd like to go to the north. I always feel that there's a community feel, in Yorkshire, for example, or something like that. Definitely. Northern communities do have something about them that they seem to be better knitted together than London.
Yeah. I'm not taking it. I'm speaking up for London here. gbnews.com/your say. Be friendly, come on.
No, there's London and there's London. There's your London, and then there's a whole other part of London, and they don't like talking to you. What's he talking to me for? I'm now talking to you with the time at 16 minutes past the hour, and New Year travel plans, all this business on the Eurostar yesterday. Some services resuming today. We believe it's going to get back to normal, and there was something to make us smile in the gloom yesterday. And what was that?
Yeah, an American family were gifted flights by a GB News viewer after being stranded at St Pancras. And national reporter Will Godley had all the details.
Bobby and Kim Cook today celebrating their 25th wedding anniversary. They'd hoped to be able to spend that in Paris with a nice romantic meal, perhaps next to the Eiffel Tower with their 3 sons, celebrating their 25th wedding anniversary. But earlier on, when their Eurostar train was cancelled, they thought that would all come to an end. Take a look at what they told me earlier.
We planned a nice dinner and just some time in Paris. There's no flights, there's no transportation, so we're having a challenge of getting out of the city.
And you were telling me you don't even have travel insurance as well, so not quite the 25th wedding anniversary you might have wanted.
Great. It'll be memorable.
I love that story.
Yeah.
That is being kind. That is
Yes.
what John Swinney was talking about, maybe. Who knows? It's a heartwarming story of people actually caring.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I might say hello to people, but would I pay for their ticket to not sure I would.
Well, no, there is that. Okay.
Yeah. Here's Bobby Cook. Let's find out what Bobby has to say about all of this. Bobby.
Good morning.
Hiya. Well, how was your whole experience?
Well, it was an adventure to say the least. It was definitely in a moment where the chaos kind of was happening. We didn't know what was going on. Of course, we're in a city that we've never been before, and so we didn't really know what to do. And so we're asking people around us. We met some great people with the same, similar stories that encountering unexpected changes. There was a man from Australia that was so calm, and I thought, hey, if he's not getting upset, maybe we should relax and just kind of figure things out. And so as things unrolled, there was another family next to us, and the dad jumped right up and knew exactly where to call and what to do. And I was like, wow, I wish I knew, what's next. And so we just started trying to call, airlines and look at the buses, look at any option. And just as we were doing that, everything was getting full and there was no options. And so that really began to make us feel a moment of not necessarily panic, but just felt hopeless in a sense and not sure what to do and even powerless in a sense. And so, and so part of that story as we came out, we were trying to figure out what to do, and Will encountered us and I said, well, do you have a car? Can you take us to Paris? I had no idea the drive or was it possible. And then he said, well, let me just tell your story. And so I said, okay, that we can do that. And then, like, as you said, the viewer reached out to us and that gave us that moment of hope, that, oh, wow, somebody's there to support us. They care about us and in this land that we have, never been in and don't know anything about. And so that was just a hope-filled moment just to feel that support. But then even as we kind of heard more and more kind of unfolding, last minute, I looked down, I saw a flight on EasyJet open up, and they made a flight for all of us that were stranded that didn't get flights, and that was amazing. And then we met a flight attendant on the flight who was making dinner, got the call, jumped in his car, and came to get on the plane for our flight. Just amazing how many people came together to help in this situation.
It depends how much you need the money. You must have needed the money. But Bobby, tell me, where are you from? Where exactly are you from? Tell me about your hometown.
Absolutely. So we're from Tennessee, and so that's in the States. That's in the U.S. And great little town. A lot of London kind of remind me of some bigger cities around us, but Chattanooga is a little bit smaller of a city, so outskirts of London. People are friendly. They say hi to you. They talk to you. So you'll definitely feel that if you ask questions about, you go in the elevator and ask how they're doing, you might end up having a cup of coffee with somebody, a new stranger, and become a new friend. So that's one thing there. It's just a neat town.
Well, we're heading to Tennessee next, so we'll give you a shout.
That sounds good.
Bobby, just finally, it's very easy to get cynical about behaviour, especially with the way politics are on both sides of the Atlantic at the moment. Has it restored your faith in human nature a bit? Do you feel a bit more warmer and fuzzier going into the new year now?
It did, and it also, one of the things that in that moment that we, that I just spent time really just praying and just like, help us in the situation, give me wisdom. And I really felt like the Lord's presence was with us. And just the fact that all these things happen, I mean, even if it didn't turn out the way it did, I still would have had hope in my relationship with Jesus Christ. I still would have had that hope in my faith, but it just, the way it turned out, it just made me even more thankful. But also just looking at all the stories of the other people that affected. I mean, it affected thousands of people, and just as we heard other stories, I had no idea. We were just kind of felt kind of insulated in the moment. And it felt like it was a big issue for us, but it was a big issue for a lot of people. And it wasn't just, I feel for the company, for Eurostar, for, we were excited to have that experience on the train. And I know it was a lot more than what, they expected for the day and the workers there, and you know, and they kept calm, and everybody did a good job of just working with us, even though I think the folks on the train that were stuck in the tunnel probably had it the worst of all of us. And I really feel bad for them as well. But and I hope they're getting along today as they've gotten out of the tunnel, and hopefully life is getting back to normal. But as we said, you know, definitely felt that support from this viewer, and just the fact of having him to talk to on the phone, and hearing it how he just really wanted us to have a good experience, and didn't even know us, but cared about us in that moment. It was really nice.
And a lovely end to the year, and hopefully it'll end up being a lovely start to the new year, Bobby. It's been a delight talking to you. Yeah, and
thank you so much.
Not at all. We wish you compliments of the season, and that the rest of the holiday turns out well for you. Lovely talking to you, and thanks for talking to us this morning.
Absolutely. Thank you. Happy New Year's.
Happy New Year. Thank you.
Thank you.
It's a lovely story.
I think it's a lovely story, and as I said, it's very easy to get cynical, but I do think most people are basically quite good deep down. I want to believe that. You're looking at me like I've gone mad all of a sudden. But...
No.
Don't you?
No.
No. Oh,
I don't.
Okay.
I tell you, I would like to take my experiences of this year, by and large, and put them in a big black bin liner and dump them in the bin. And there's very little I could look back at this year or last year or the year before and really saying, this is marvellous, this is fantastic.
Well, you've got health problems, and when you've got health problems, that's not going to put you in a good place mentally, is it? But maybe this year is your year, Eamonn. Maybe that knighthood is yours.
Maybe pigs will fly. There we go. The weather picture, Annie Shuttleworth.
Expect warm spells with the odd rude interruption. Boxed Boilers sponsors the weather on GB News.
Good morning, welcome to your latest GB News weather update, brought to you from the Met Office. It's a cold start to the final day of 2025, but there will be more in the way of sunshine out there if you are heading out on a New Year's Eve walk. But it's a frosty start. The frost may not clear across some northern areas. You can see that with the blue colours here on the map, and any mist and fog that's formed in the south and east could take a little while to clear as well. But once it does, there will be plenty of sunshine, in particular across England and Wales. Cloudier skies, though, starting to move into parts of Scotland in particular, with some strengthening winds as well. This will bring slightly milder conditions, but with a brisk wind near gale force winds, it's going to be a pretty unpleasant start to the Hogmanay celebrations. Unfortunately for much of Scotland, some heavy downpours moving through as well. Should stay dry as we look further south towards Northern Ireland, as well as much of Northern England and then into Wales and England. But there will be a lot of cloud around, a frost developing quite quickly across many southern areas, in particular once again into this evening. So you will want some layers if you are heading out for New Year's Eve celebrations. Now, as we head through the night on New Year's Eve, the winds will push down from the north, so that means snow showers will start to pile in across parts of northern Scotland in particular, to low levels initially, but we are expecting some snow, some high to lower levels later on to higher levels initially. And it's going to be a cold start to the day on New Year's Day. A warning is in force for snow and ice across northern areas of Scotland all the way until Friday. Further south, though, should remain relatively dry. There's a risk of the odd shower across parts of Wales and Northern Ireland. But for most of us, it should be a dry day to start 2026, but another chilly one, so you're definitely going to be wanting your hat and gloves. Have a great evening. Bye-bye.
Expect warm spells with the odd rude interruption. Boxed Boilers sponsors the weather on GB News.
Exciting news. Every Friday, my Patrick Christie's Tonight Show is going to have a twist to it. We're welcoming some special guests. You. That's right, on Fridays I'm going to be doing my show in front of a live studio audience, because this show is about you and what you have to say. It's going to be the same big debates, same big topics, same big opinions, but every Friday night at 9 p.m. you are invited to come on down to Patrick Christie's Tonight to be a part of the action. Only on GB News, the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Hi, I'm Michelle Dewberry, and my show is your opportunity to cut through all the noise and dive in headfirst to some robust debates. Ideas clash.
Situation,
No,
isn't it?
no,
Because the failure is
you're
the failure is
deliberately avoiding my point. Nothing's held back,
And if you think this is the end of it, wait for more.
and we do not shy away from the difficult stuff.
Sometimes I want to shake people and say, if only you understood.
So join me on Dubes & Co. weeknights at 6 p.m, only on GB News, Britain's news channel.
Decisions made in Washington aren't just shaping America, they're shaping Britain too. From migration to global security, from crime to health. Whatever happens in the White House today
will be felt in your town or city tomorrow.
That's why The Late Show is live from Washington, D.C.
Cutting through the politics to show you what it all means for Britain.
The Late Show live every night at midnight.
Only on GB News,
Britain's news channel.
From the school run to the home run, watch a new show for all of Britain.
He can say whatever he wants.
A straight-talking show where all voices are heard.
And, you know, when are we going to stop talking about smashing the gangs and actually do it?
With the stories that matter from every part of our country.
There's a bit of a crash landing there for your Chancellor.
Bold, fearless and standing up for you. That's me, Martin Daubney, 3 p.m. till 6 p.m, weekdays, here only on GB News. The People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Britain was once the envy of the world. But look around. A nation that no longer knows what it is or where it's going. A country that's broken. How do we fix Britain? How do we bring it back? Friday night with Matt Goodwin at 8 p.m, only on GB News.
No matter the state it's in, this is our nation. Join me, Jacob Rees-Mogg, for a genuine, honest discussion on where we have been, where we are going, and where we are with the people who set the direction. Tune in to State of the Nation every Monday to Thursday, 8 to 9 o'clock. Only on GB News.
Britain deserves a newsroom that puts the facts and your voice first.
Well, and that's what you get on GB News. Lively debates, lively conversation.
And we're not afraid to hold power to account.
And each other. So join me, Andrew Pierce.
And me, Miriam Gates, for Britain's Newsroom, weekdays from 9:30 on GB News.
Tell you something we're going to talk about in the next hour of the programme, and that is TV dead? Traditional TV as you know it. And the answer is, it is, whether you know it or not. And why they're all getting you to say the BBC's rubbish and let's get rid of the BBC, which I don't agree with, you realise you pay 175 quid a year for the BBC. Nothing compared to all these other channels that you've got on there, full of programmes that are very nice, but they're not the programmes we were brought up with.
No. Because they all come with trigger warnings these days, don't they? I mean, everything we used to watch.
They do nice dramas. They do quite good dramas.
Yes, body strippers.
Yeah, but you don't get like a tremendous series like Captain Scarlet or Bewitched.
Oh, Stingray. Used to love Stingray.
Stingray. Stand by for action.
Yeah, Stingray.
Anything can happen in the next half hour.
That is entirely true.
Stingray.
That is entirely true. That's GB News.
You're sitting looking at me and thinking, what did you watch? So what do you remember as programmes when you were a kid? What were you? What stuck in your mind? What would have influenced you? I mean, I can look back and I can see Catweasel and Blue Peter.
Oh, God, Catweasel. Love that, yeah.
Magpie and... What, was there anything that you can remember?
Well, it would have been things like Generation Game. I know that evolved over time. That was like Saturday night. It was, I think it was somebody else by then. I think it was Jim Davidson by then. I think it was Jim Davidson by then. But what I do remember about telly, and that's why I agree with you about the BBC in particular, because all of these new streaming services, they're all commercial. And there is an aspect of TV that I think you need to keep that won't make money, and that's maybe the educational aspect of. So BBC Bite Size, I mean, we used to watch as a kid, which was giving you sort of educational lessons, but whether it's giving you the right kind of education, not quite sure now. But what I like about terrestrial telly and keeping things almost as they are is what brings families together. So, you know, I used to always go and watch the Carry-Ons with my grandparents. Loved it.
Does it anymore? Interesting. It would be interesting to see what the setup was this Christmas. The way you see, when I was young, you used to sit down for the big film. There was always a big film like True Grit or something like that, whatever. And you know, the King or Queen's Message, which wasn't always watched in Ireland, it has to be said. But yeah, there were appointments to view. Nowadays, kids watch on separate devices in separate rooms, and the family is split up. Now, I stand to be corrected on that. Maybe there is an exception for Christmas Day, but if there is, I haven't seen it yet. But this business about MTV, MTV was regarded as the really trendy station out there. Oh, you've never seen this before, but it is on MTV. Now we get, like, Naked Attraction.
Oh.
And I've never seen a more disgusting programme, and I had to watch it for scientific reasons. But, you know, now you have bits of people's genitalia that you have to watch. Do I like Charlie Riley?
Rewind. What were the scientific reasons you were watching Naked
Why
Attraction?
else would you watch it? Why else would you watch
You were
it?
looking at willies, weren't you? Let's be honest.
Well, I wasn't interested in the willies, but anyway.
I mean, but isn't that a boy thing? Isn't that a comparison thing?
No, it's a disgusting programme. I don't really see. And then they try, like typical, I think it's on Channel 4 or something, they try and say, this is for scientific reasons. I've seen this.
It's like other programmes now, like the Married at First Sight. Why would you marry somebody at first sight?
Yeah.
I mean, you know, what kind of commitment are you getting into just because it's ridiculous?
You can always obviously just watch GB News because lots of you are and getting in touch.
What are people saying
I
this
just want to
morning?
read this one out. This is from Linda. Hi, Linda. Thanks so much. Dawn, lovely to see you so chirpy as usual. And when I read that to Eamonn just now, he goes, well, that's because you're sitting next to me, isn't it? No, it's not.
You're getting your jollies sitting next to me.
Exactly.
You're thinking of Naked Attraction. Anyway, still to come, a new list of risk and rewards. We're going to be talking about those. They've been published for those who get the weight loss jabs and what it brings to you, OK?
Gosh.
So we've got Jennifer Powers, we've got Norman Baker, and they've got lots of views on lots of things right after this.
Thank you for making us Britain's #1 news channel. Together, we have built something truly extraordinary.
Good morning. This is the latest AI travel news from gbnews.com. The A83 is restricted in both directions at Locknell Street in Loch Gilphead because of emergency roadworks, so allow extra time and consider local diversions. In South Wales, the A4042 is shut both ways between Mamilad and Little Mill following an incident, with no through route currently available. And on the trains, Avanti West Coast has major engineering work between Milton Keynes Central and Northampton or Rugby, with disruption also possible via Nuneaton, while Cross Country reports major engineering work in the Cambridge area and disruption between Doncaster and Sheffield. For more travel news, go to gbnews.com.
Bowl. They are under no illusion.
Ray.
Are you a human trafficker?
Boundless. I've had enough of the nonsense, and I'm not afraid to say it.
Don't get this on the BBC.
Every weeknight, I tear through the headlines.
The smell of gasoline. Should we be worried about it?
From Westminster madness to cultural war chaos.
What I'm going to do now is they are throwing things out the car as we speak.
Get ready, Britain. Here we go. Patrick Christie tonight, weeknights from 9 p.m, only on GB News, Britain's news channel.
Hi, I'm Michelle Dewberry, and my show is your opportunity to cut through all the noise and dive in headfirst to some robust debates. Ideas clash.
Situation,
No,
isn't it?
no,
Because the failure is...
You're deliberately avoiding my point. Nothing's held back,
And if you think this is the end of it, wait for more.
and we do not shy away from the difficult stuff.
Sometimes I want to shake people and say, if only you understood.
So join me on Jubes & Co. weeknights at 6 p.m, only on GB News, Britain's news channel.
Westminster, the ultimate clique.
And you're fighting like rats in a sack.
But here on the Camilla Tominey Show, we ask the questions the establishment media is too scared to ask.
OK, let me ask you a straight question, because I know you're a straight-talking politician.
Whether it's net zero, illegal immigration or law and order, nothing is off limits.
You had the power then.
Yeah, as I
And
say,
now you've lost it.
That's the Camilla Tominey Show, a politics show that's fearless.
But no, let me finish my question if you don't mind, because it is my show.
Sundays at 9:30, only on GB News, the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Britain deserves a newsroom that puts the facts and your voice first.
Well, and that's what you get on GB News. Lively debates, lively conversation.
And we're not afraid to hold power to account.
And each other. So join me, Andrew Pierce.
And me, Miriam Cates, for Britain's Newsroom, weekdays from 9:30 on GB News.
We are delighted to have a nice bit of crack now with Jennifer Powers and Norman Baker. We're going to be discussing some of the stories in the papers today, and I hope you hang around and listen and have your views. If you have your say, we'll reflect those.
We're going to read as many out as I possibly can, and some I can't even read out after that earlier debate about what we were watching on TV. So now we're going to get very serious, aren't we, Norman Baker? What are we talking about? Fire service in England tackled record 27,000 wildfires.
Yes, wildfires are incredible. You think about this being in California or somewhere, but actually it's in the UK. 27,000 wildfires.
That's a lot.
It's a huge number. It's a huge, and it's going up every year. And this is climate change. And you've also got the same page on the eye. There's two other environment stories on the same page on the eye. I don't know if you can pick that up on the screen. This one over here, Iceland, which you might think is a cold place. Temperature at the moment in Iceland at 20 degrees Celsius,
wow, that is
which
warm.
is 69 Fahrenheit, which is very high for Iceland.
It's interesting, you know, when you instantly blamed climate change for all these wildfires. Jennifer, I put it to you that there's a lot of idiots running around starting fires as well.
Yes, we've seen that happen with a lot of the California wildfires, where the Governor, Gavin Newsom, and others have been quick to claim that it's due to climate change, when in fact it's due to arson. I don't know, it doesn't say in this Guardian story how many of these fires were started accidentally, but that is how the vast majority start, is accidentally, and then a few, very sadly, happen through arson.
I remember when I was a kid, me and my brothers, surrounding Belfast, there's a hill range called the Cave Hill. And we used to look up at it from the house and say, "Daddy, look, the mountain's on fire." And there would be smoke coming from the mountains. And he'd say, "But that's the Red Indians there, the cavalry for them there." And you would totally believe it. You would hear, because you would see the westerns where the Indians used blankets for smoke signals.
Okay.
They would light the fires and then pull the blankets away, and then that would be
It's
it.
lovely how naive we were as children. I'm not sure kids are like that anymore.
don't think they
Instead, it was some arsonist doing something.
Maybe it was just someone roasting marshmallows, Eamonn. We don't know, right?
They would have been big marshmallows, I'll tell you.
Eamonn, you should also pick up then, if you were doing your blankets with Indians, Red Indians, we can't call them Red Indians now, is Little Plum in the Beano.
Yes, Little Plum, yes.
He had a blanket which created smoke signals.
Missed out on Little Plum.
No idea.
No. And I'm not going down that road. It's very
Eamonn knows
dangerous.
Little Plum.
No.
I'm not going down Eamonn's Little Plum road, honestly. Jennifer, fat jabs. Evidently, we're all going to be on them, but what are they doing for us?
Well, indeed, and I was astounded to read that more than 2.5 million Brits are already on the jabs, which is a huge number.
2.5 million.
Wow. 2.5 million. But here is an article really extolling the virtues, the benefits of taking them. Diabetes risk reduced by 80% amongst those of us who are obese, which is really huge. And, you know, as someone, my father had suffered from diabetes and ultimately led to kidney failure, would have been fantastic if this had been available whilst he was alive. I feel like it would have really extended his life.
So those are the upsides. Heart, protecting your heart, protecting you against diabetes, but there must be downsides as well.
There's an increased risk of hair loss. And I have to say, I think that will impact on some people. I mean, you may sort of giggle like, compared to heart health and diabetes, losing a bit of your hair. But I don't know. I mean, as someone who I like to think I have good hair.
You have beautiful hair. You really do have beautiful hair.
Thank you, Dawn. That would actually concern me if I felt like I was going to lose my hair.
Big psychological
Does that make
problem.
me sound vain? I guess it might.
I only giggled, to be fair, because there was a big sigh from that end of the desk.
Norman.
My hair loss is not to do with a fat jab, I can tell you. It's been going on for several decades. I've got a photograph of me at university with a bald patch when I was about 19, so it's been getting worse ever since then. I don't really mind. What I would say about the fat jab thing is that the danger, I think, in this is that people think they can eat what they want and behave, let's have another couple of hamburger, let's have a supersized one, and we'll get rid of it with this fat jab. I think it's very dangerous to think you can cure those sorts of habits with a jab.
I worry about malnutrition. Does that sound weird? But like if it's basically an appetite suppressant, right?
Yeah.
And if you're eating junk food and then your body basically says you're full, stop eating. you know, how do you get the nutrients you really need? But apparently it's working well for millions of Brits. So I defer to their wisdom.
Or you could just eat Easter eggs, couldn't you? Know, when you're not sure about Easter eggs.
Well,
ready?
You won't get fat on Easter eggs in the future because they're going to be subject to shrinkflation, according to the Sun, which is at Cadbury's mini eggs. We've got Easter stuff on the shelves now, by the way. Already. It's December and we've got Easter stuff on the shelves. Cadbury's mini eggs have shrunk. There's fewer of them in the packet now than there were last year. And the smaller. And you see this, it's a particular thing with cocoa. There's a particular problem with cocoa harvest at the moment. But you look at a Mars bar, I'm sorry, it's the same size as Milky Way used to be. Yeah, there's nothing there. The Toblerone is the Toblerone bar. There's now more space between the mountains. There's more space between the mountains. There are fewer mountains in the Toblerone bar than there used to be.
Well, Norman, have I got news for you? The biggest shock I had during the week was, and you'll hate this, mini Smarties.
Mini Smarties.
So Smartie is small enough, and now you get these tiny. They're a waste of time. But mini Smarties, you can
not very Smartie.
End up on the floor. You probably lose most of them. They're so small, and then
Well, there we are. We'll not lose you two. They're going to be back straight after this break, and I hope you will be too.
Yeah, they're...
Can't wait to get in that sea.
Lovely and warm.
Just like the feeling of having great travel insurance.
All Clear Travel Insurance sponsors GB News Travel Destinations Forecast.
Hello, are you heading away for the new year? Well, there is some unsettled weather, some cold weather across Europe, in fact. Storm Francis is bringing some very wet weather to the Canaries through New Year's Day and into the weekend, as well as parts of Spain and Portugal. Comparatively drier for more central areas, though it is colder than it usually is at this time of year. The good news is, though, as it turns colder for the UK, it will slowly start to warm up into next week in the east. Bye-bye.
All Clear Travel Insurance sponsors GB News Travel Destinations Forecast.
Britain was once the envy of the world. But look around. A nation that no longer knows what it is or where it's going. A country that's broken. How do we fix Britain? How do we bring it back? Friday night with Matt Goodwin at 8 p.m. only on GB News.
Sir Jacob Rees-Mogg's State of the Nation, Monday to Thursday from 8 p.m.
The National Trust has come under fire after declining a Catholic filmmaker's request to shoot a documentary at St Cuthbert's Cave in Northumberland. St Cuthbert's Cave was a crucial location for the film, as it's traditionally believed to be where the saint's body rested in 875 before he was moved to Durham, where it remains today. Trust justified its decision by citing the project's religious affiliation, sparking accusations that the heritage charity has breached equality laws and is engaging in illegal religious discrimination. Well, I'm joined now by the filmmaker at the centre of the story, Christian Holden. Christian, thank you for coming in. So, first of all, tell me about St Cuthbert. Why do we mind about St Cuthbert?
Well, St Cuthbert, this historical figure, this great figure of the northeast of England and the Scottish borders area, was renowned for his physical prowess, for his great night vigils. I approached the National Trust to ask permission to film there, and the initial response I had from them by email was that they didn't host any filming of a religious or political nature. I made a phone call to that particular person and explained more about what we hope to do, and that aside from its religious storyline, there's also historical value to it, cultural.
And so you were making the case that St Cuthbert was a cultural icon as well as a religious icon in the northeast of England, a very important political as well as religious figure in the consolidation of Christianity in the northeast.
It's such a critical part of our culture and our heritage, particularly in that area as well. So I was bewildered to be refused to visit and film this site of such importance on the basis of essentially being a Christian filmmaker.
GB News, the People's Channel.
No matter the state it's in, this is our nation. Join me, Jacob Rees-Mogg, for a genuine, honest discussion on where we have been, where we are going, and where we are with the people who set the direction. Tune in to State of the Nation every Monday to Thursday, 8 to 9 o'clock. Only on GB News.
Britain deserves a newsroom that puts the facts and your voice first.
Well, and that's what you get on GB News. Lively debates, lively conversations.
And we're not afraid to hold power to account.
And each other. So join me, Andrew Pearce.
And me, Miriam Cates, for Britain's Newsroom, weekdays from 9:30 on GB News.
We've got Jennifer, we've got Norman, and they're going through stories in the newspapers today that are getting us all talking. And Norman, seen today various political leaders issuing New Year messages, and this is a new thing, it's a new trend.
It's an opportunity for a political leader to get some coverage. So here we are, we'll say something about the New Year or about Christmas or Easter or somewhere else, and we can get some space on the media to have our views put across in a wider sense. So it's a kind of opportunity, it's a vehicle to get your views across. Having said that, I mean, New Year messages, New Year is a time to think about where you're going forward, to look back on the previous year, to think about what might happen in the next year. So in my view, this is actually the right time to make a message. We've heard today from Nigel Farage, Ed Davey and John Swinney, I think, on the programme. We've not heard from Kemi Badenoch or Keir Starmer. I don't know whether they're going to do New Year messages or not. I'd be surprised if they don't. But once one politician starts doing it, then the others will follow, because if they've got some coverage, then somebody else wants to bite the same cake.
OK, Jennifer, though, do we listen? Do we actually believe anything we're hearing?
We're just trying to see where your microphone is. We're having trouble with your microphone.
I have to say,
That's because it's in his pocket there, so we're just
sorting that out. I really enjoyed the Lib Dem message, and perhaps for slightly unfair reasons, but I felt it was Lib Dem bingo. It was like, it wasn't really about the challenges facing the country for the year ahead. It was, I'm going to just push the buttons of my Lib Dem supporters. So he managed to criticize Elon Musk and Donald Trump, you know, and it was sort of like, what does that have to do with Britain?
Well, it does, though.
But he knows that the people who vote Lib Dem in this country, you know, what do? They love the EU. They like the rivers and streams, don't we all? The environment, and they hate Donald Trump and Elon Musk, and that's what he got across. So in that sense, it was effective, but it did make me laugh a bit, because that didn't seem to be a serious.
Well, I think all political leaders will press buttons, and I think Nigel Farage is pressing buttons for his supporters with what he said as well. So there's no difference in that.
Hit the target, OK, because their action's been very good to him.
Well, I'm sure it has. And he's got the message of change, which came out as the key word. Well, Obama had that. Keir Starmer had that. Change is a very effective political word to use, because people always think what can be ahead of you is better than what's there now, and it sometimes isn't.
Well, we found that out with this government.
We did.
It's worse. So many ways. So, yeah, I don't know. I agree with you. I think it has become a trend. I think that we are likely to see the Prime Minister and Badenoch came out with statements. I have to say, I find the Prime Minister's videos a bit cringe. He looks quite uncomfortable.
He's a bit wooden, I'm afraid.
Max Headroom, it reminds me of. I mean, Jennifer, let's move on to another story. In the Telegraph, this one's yours. Homeless people are being given £2,000 lump sum payments to spend on whatever they want.
Yeah, this is an interesting one. King's College is doing this research on behalf of the Centre for Homelessness Impact. And there's 250 people they've recruited in London and Belfast. Half of them will be the control group. They don't receive anything. The other 125 will receive £2,000 cash that's being deposited directly into their bank account with no strings attached. And the researchers are going to follow them for the next year to find out which group does better, and if having this pot of money helps them become more financially resilient and keeps them from becoming homeless. And they're going to report in 2027. So hopefully we'll hear how that goes.
But Norman, if it works, what's the follow-on? Do we just give all homeless people £2,000?
Well, it's a curious thing to do, actually, as a matter of fact. I'm not quite sure how it's going to work, and I'm not sure everybody's got a bank account if you're homeless on the street, whether you've got a bank account or not. The other thing which strikes me as rather sad, actually, is there's a major homelessness problem at the moment in the country. And yet, during COVID, there wasn't, because there were steps were taken by the government at the time and by local councils to make sure we didn't have people on the street for health reasons. And we did actually clear the streets, and people were given somewhere to stay. You know, why has that been allowed to fall by the wayside now?
Yeah. It's a national disgrace, Norman.
It is, I'm afraid. When I walk down the street and see people who are homeless, and some of them are ex-soldiers and so on, who've come back and been abandoned really by the army, you think, well, you know, this is a stain on our country to see people on the streets like this.
Well, apparently we're all 2 paychecks away from being homeless. You know, it won't take too much to get us off the track and into that situation. But it's food for thought, and it's something that I always feel that we should prioritise. And the Prince of Wales, we really wish him all the best with what he's trying to do to eradicate homelessness as well.
The other problem, there's a homeless encampment not far from here, Jennifer, but they are all migrants, basically.
Well, yes, and the article does admit that they don't know what they don't disclose whether the people in this study are migrants or British citizens. But I think a lot of I agree with what you say about government initiative, but we'll just have to wait and see what happens.
Yeah,
okay.
Indeed.
Thank you both very much indeed, and we'll see you again in about 40 minutes' time.
We're all ready.
Okay. But first, if you are in search of some holiday sun, here is the forecast for around Europe.
Warm and cosy, with a chance of zero visibility. Boxed Boilers sponsors the weather on GB News.
Good morning, welcome to your latest GB News weather update, brought to you from the Met Office. It's a cold start to the final day of 2025, but there will be more in the way of sunshine out there if you are heading out on a New Year's Eve walk. But it's a frosty start. The frost may not clear across some northern areas. You can see that with the blue colours here on the map. And any mist and fog that's formed in the south and east could take a little while to clear as well. But once it does, there will be plenty of sunshine, in particular across England and Wales. Cloudier skies, though, starting to move into parts of Scotland in particular, with some strengthening winds as well. This will bring slightly milder conditions, but with a brisk wind near gale force winds, it's going to be a pretty unpleasant start to the Hogmanay celebrations. Unfortunately for much of Scotland, some heavy downpours moving through as well. Should stay dry as we look further south towards Northern Ireland, as well as much of Northern England and then into Wales and England. But there will be a lot of cloud around, a frost developing quite quickly across many southern areas, in particular once again into this evening. So you will want some layers if you are heading out for New Year's Eve celebrations. Now, as we head through the night on New Year's Eve, the winds will push down from the north, so that means snow showers will start to pile in across parts of northern Scotland in particular, to low levels initially, but we are expecting some snow, some high to lower levels later on to higher levels initially. And it's going to be a cold start to the day on New Year's Day. A warning is in force for snow and ice across northern areas of Scotland all the way until Friday. Further south, though, should remain relatively dry. There's a risk of the odd shower across parts of Wales and Northern Ireland. But for most of us, it should be a dry day to start 2026, but another chilly one, so you're definitely going to be wanting your hat and gloves. Have a great evening. Bye-bye.
Warm and cosy, with a chance of zero visibility. Boxed Boilers sponsors the weather on GB News.
Thank you to our global community for watching and listening to GB News. We're not only the #1 news channel in Britain, we're chosen by you around the world.
Good morning, this is the latest AI travel news from gbnews.com. On the A83, both ways are restricted at Locknell Street, Loch Gilphead, due to emergency roadworks. The A4042 is shut in both directions from Marmhilad to Little Mill after an incident, so allow extra time and follow local diversions. In Milton Keynes, the M1 northbound between Junction 14 and Junction 15 is closed in all lanes following a road traffic collision. And on the trains, Avanti West Coast has major engineering work between Milton Keynes Central and Northampton or Rugby, with disruption via Nuneaton, while Cross Country reports engineering work in the Cambridge area and delays between Doncaster and Sheffield. For more travel news, go to gbnews.com.
We want to make the new year your best year yet, with a chance to win our greatest cash prize to date. A simply stunning £85,000 in tax-free cash could be yours. Treat the family to that bucket list holiday you've always fancied. Get your dream car you've always wanted. Or just relax, safe in the knowledge that the coming year is on us. For another chance to win £85,000 cash, text cash to 63225. One entry costs £2.50 plus one standard network rate message. Or text bonus to 63225. 5 entries cost £5 plus one standard network rate message. Go to gbnews.com/win. Entries start at £2.50. Call 0903 686 3232. Calls cost £2.50 plus your network access charge. Or post your name and number to GB18 PO Box 8690 Derby DE1 9TT. UK only. Entrance must be 18 or over. Lines close at 4 p.m. on the 30th of January. Please check the closing time if listening or watching on demand. Good luck.
At GB News, we love to hear from you, our loyal community. So drop us a line at gbnews.com/yoursay. There you can talk to each other and also to the presenters live on air. gbnews.com/yoursay, because GB News is your channel, Britain's news channel.
Join me, Nana Akweer, for an informative, interactive news programme with a difference. It's fun.
No, he didn't say that, Dave.
I'm so surprised.
I think there's an element of truth to that.
Join me from 3 p.m. every weekend, only on GB News, Britain's news channel.
In the GB Newsroom, we bring you the news as it happens.
With our team of dedicated journalists across the UK,
we're ready to keep you up to date with what's happening every half an hour, every single day. Bulletins here on GB News,
the People's Channel,
Britain's news channel.
A really important thing about GB News, and it's brought something completely different to the landscape.
The mainstream is all about keeping the status quo as it is, ticking along quite nicely. They don't want to ask difficult questions.
GB News exists because there is a desperate need for fearless journalism that puts the people first.
GB News came on the scene as a disruptor, and it has always been a disruptor ever since.
Journalism in this country has been a cosy world full of groupthink until now.
Well, the reality is that most British journalists are afraid. That's not GB News.
Journalism is journalism at the end of the day, and we're not here to serve any masters. Our masters are our audience.
We're here to talk about things in a way that have never been broadcast on British Airways before.
Do not miss a moment on GB News.
The #1 news channel in the country.
Hello there, very good morning to you. Nice to have you on board. Reform UK leader Nigel Farage has just released his New Year's message. Does it strike a chord with you?
We may well be the last chance this country has to actually restore some proper values. Those of family, community, country, the ones upon which I based this party when I founded it in the very beginning.
Yeah, Mr Farage says Reform is the only party offering hope and change ahead of the 2026 local elections. But do you agree?
Lib Dem leader Sir Ed Davey delivers his message as well.
Protecting our environment, fixing the NHS and social care, these are our battles. As well as standing up to Donald Trump and Elon Musk, taking the fight to Nigel Farage and winning. And we can win again in 2026.
Well, Nigel Farage promising change with Reform, Ed Davey taking a pop, of course, at Donald Trump and Nigel Farage, both of them getting ahead of the leaders and deputy shadow leaders' speeches later tonight. I'll bring you more of what they had to say shortly.
Meanwhile, tens of thousands of people who were expecting to travel on the Eurostar yesterday are furious this morning, waking up in cities where they certainly didn't expect to be.
Swamped by sniffles, millions of patients seek help in A&E departments for very minor conditions like headaches, coughs, hiccups, and even constipation. Meanwhile, the government has invested in 500 new ambulances.
And New Year, New You. From fitness goals to starting a new hobby, are New Year's resolutions a powerful motivator or do they just make you miserable?
MTV, the iconic music channel, that includes MTV Music, MTV 80s, MTV 90s. Club MTV will be taken off air today, maybe because there are far too many of them, as people shift towards streaming services. So if you know what that means, then you don't need me to explain. Question is it time for traditional TV to call it a day?
And behind the New Year celebrations, pubs face a £32,000 business rates hit, and punters are warned that the price of their next pint is set to surge.
Good morning. It's another cold but sunny start out there as we head into the new year. Snow is on the way. You can find out all the details with me a little later on.
Oh, so not white Christmas, but a white New Year. There we go.
Always the way.
Yes, well, if you're watching us in the snow or wherever you're watching, however you're listening, you are very, very welcome. 2 minutes past 8 o'clock. I'm Eamonn Holmes.
And I'm Dawn Neeson. And this is indeed GB News Breakfast.
So, New Year messages, New Year resolutions. Will you be going out tonight?
No, I won't be, because I think it's overpriced, overcrowded, and I'd rather have a cosy night in, to be honest with you. How about you? You're going out on the tiles?
No, it's a bit of a bother. It's a bit of a, I don't know how anybody can afford to go out anyway.
Yeah, it is expensive, to be fair.
It is, but there we go. But I'm sure I'll get plenty of phone calls. I always remember my mother and father. They used to have bits of coal. You would give somebody, or people would call with you and give you a nugget of coal.
Yeah.
That was meant to be good luck.
Yes, that's right, yes.
Yeah, River as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But, I mean, let us know what you're up to tonight. It is indeed New Year's Eve. I mean, we keep forgetting. I've no idea what day it is.
You can't do the coal business because you're not allowed to burn coal nowadays.
Oh, God, no, that's bad.
You couldn't be doing that. No.
So what do you have to do instead? Give someone a wind turbine or something?
I just think people aren't friendly like that anymore. They don't do that. I mean, when I do think people genuinely would ring your doorbell just to say hello.
Happy New Year.
Yeah, and Happy New Year.
But you've got a thing today because Eamonn was ignored this morning, weren't you? Not by me. I haven't ignored him.
No,
I wouldn't do that.
This is quite typical. I'm just saying, I just think people are less friendly in central London than they are in Manchester, in Leeds, in Glasgow, in Aberdeen, in Plymouth, in Belfast. I do definitely believe that.
What do you think about that? Come on, Londoners, gbnews.com/your say. Do you agree with Eamonn, or do you think that actually Catherine Forster, who is here waving at me...
She's never friendly. Oh, hello.
I think that's absolutely true. My mother was from Northern Ireland and she moved to Yorkshire and she couldn't believe how unfriendly Yorkshire people were compared to the Northern Irish. And then I obviously grew up in Yorkshire, down here, and I think it's where you have somewhere that's got so many people. I mean, on Christmas Day, we went out for a walk. We said, Happy Christmas, as we walked past other people. And some of them replied, some of them looked absolutely stunned. But if you can't say to somebody you pass, Happy Christmas on Christmas Day, when can you speak to them? But yeah, I think you're right.
People were seriously ignoring you saying Happy Christmas.
No, they would respond, but they were just like so shocked that somebody would pass them and actually speak to them.
There is a difference. There is, but I mean, we have one standard phrase in Northern Ireland, which is, "What about you? You all right? What about you?"
Okay.
And people often look at you going, "What do you mean? What about me? What about
I understand that.
Okay.
I do understand that.
And you're not typical. You're not typical of what we're talking about in London. You're friendly, but you are traditional East End, aren't you?
Yeah, absolutely.
See, there you go.
And we always talk to anyone, obviously. So,
yeah.
But anyway, let us know what you think. gbnews.com/your say. And it is New Year's Eve, so what are you up to today?
OK. Well, Nigel Farage has been up to releasing a New Year's message. And what he's done with that, he's used it to go on attack against the government. He says these are really gloomy times, things that a lot of you will agree with. And he's talking about the British Egyptian activist who was in the news yesterday. And meanwhile, the Foreign Secretary has talked about a review of serious information failures concerning that case.
Yeah, so anyway, let's have a listen to what Nigel Farage has actually had to say.
And if we go on voting for the same old parties, I promise you, nothing will change. Think, just in the last few days, of the El Fattah case. Here's a guy that's come out of Egypt, come back to Britain, who's put out just the most abominable, hateful tweets about killing Jews, killing white people, fighting the police. And this man was given citizenship by the Conservative Party and welcomed back into Britain by the Labour Party. Frankly, there is little to choose between the two. We're the people offering hope. We're the people offering change. And 2025 showed you, with those county elections, which we won comfortably, what we are capable of. As we look forward to 2026, we have a massive set of elections. The whole of Scotland, the whole of Wales, all 32 London boroughs, county elections, thousands of council seats all over the country. And yet what are we now seeing? We're seeing a Labour government saying to those councils, if you want to cancel the elections, in some cases for the second year in a row, you can do so.
Well, we're getting good reaction, Catherine, a lot of reaction to what Nigel Farage is saying. Howard is saying Ed Davey constantly attacks America, but America is our biggest ally, and that's a road to disaster. He is showing, like the Labour Party, they are dead scared of Nigel Farage.
Well, Ed Davey is in a position as the third party that he can say all sorts of horrible things about Donald Trump without consequence, because, of course, the Prime Minister, the government has to have a good relationship, and also the Conservatives. But I think very smart of both Nigel Farage and Ed Davey to get these New Year's messages, or that's rather like a campaign speech from Reform, out now, because the Prime Minister and Kemi Badenoch, their New Year message will come out this evening. And in doing this now, we can be all talking about it. And I thought, you know, the backdrop, standing in Greenwich, rich naval heritage, overlooking the city, and he's saying we are the only ones that understand AI, new technology, the way to get growth. And they're promising change. Well, yeah, we've heard that before. I mean, that one word, change, is what won Labour that big majority, that they were not the Conservatives. But now, I mean, the government approval, the latest ratings out from YouGov, only 12% of people approve of the government, 68% disapprove. So a massive opportunity for Reform and for the Lib Dems and for the Greens. The Greens deputy leaders, which most people will probably never have heard of, will put out their message tomorrow, promising join the Greens for an amazing ride. Zach Polanski has sort of come from nowhere, and now we are moving into 2026 with 5 parties all polling well, but, you know, Labour absolutely on the floor in terms of public opinion at the moment. And I do think that Reform's message, change, yeah, we've heard it before, but people will think we've tried the Tories for 14 years. Now we're trying Labour, it's not going so well. And I think the phrase family, community, country that Reform are holding up, I do think that that will appeal to a lot of people.
And I certainly think, I mean, you can read the full speech in today's Daily Mail as well if you're interested, and send the Mail online too. I think going in on the fact that everyone's feeling gloomy going into this year, I think that's actually nailing how we are feeling. I mean, I don't want to feel gloomy on New Year's Eve. I want to feel happy, but looking forward, I'm just not getting the positive vibe from any political leader.
Let's see if Ed Davey is going to make you feel positive, or is he going to talk about the things that Catherine mentioned there? This is part of his message.
Protecting our environment, fixing the NHS and social care, these are our battles. As well as standing up to Donald Trump and Elon Musk, taking the fight to Nigel Farage and winning. And we can win again in 2026 in Scotland, Wales and across England, to stop Trump's America becoming Farage's Britain and change our country for the better. So from all of us at the Liberal Democrats, I hope you have a happy and hopeful new year. Let's make it a good one.
Feel like singing after that.
Go on then, don't let me stop you.
A good one without any beer.
Oh, no, I like the beer bit.
Okay.
No, I keep
Anyway, right, so what about Ed Davey? Does he lift you there? He had those easy targets you were talking about.
Well, yes, and he owns this space for people that do not like Donald Trump, and let's face it, there are many. So he's saying, stop Trump's America becoming Farage's Britain. He's saying if you don't like what's happening in America, if reform come in, you're going to get a repeat of that. And many people would be horrified at that prospect. There's many others that would think, well, bring it on, actually, because things are not working too well at the moment. Of course, the Lib Dems have focused on the environment, on water, on social care, particularly because Ed Davey has great personal experience of being a carer. And I would say that, you know, the government needs to get the NHS working better. Wes Streeting, the Health Secretary, maybe the next Prime Minister, who knows, is the Health and Social Care Secretary. But this government, like so many other governments before, has kicked social care into the long grass. They've put it in the too hard basket. They are having a review. But we've had so many reviews, and you just do feel that this is something that the Lib Dems are strong on, and they will hopefully continue to push.
Do we have any clue, Catherine, about what our Keir Starmer and Kemi Badenoch are going to say in this?
I don't know, and even if I did know, which actually I don't, I couldn't tell you, because it will be, I imagine we'll get it later, but it will be embargoed. So 10:30 is when we will hear what they have to say, and I think it'll be interesting to see the tone that the Prime Minister strikes, because when Labour first came in, we had so much doom and gloom and sort of talking the country down, and then they've tried to say how positive and how optimistic they are, but people want change, and they're not seeing it fast enough.
Seen a lot of comments and reports about the European Court on Human Rights, Catherine. Flo, for instance, I want to see an end to our marriage with the ECHR. With everything that's been going on, it has been difficult to focus on that issue, but to be considering the return of Shamina Begum, she's in the front of the Daily Express today. She has tipped me over the edge. We need a divorce, we need it now. Throw out the rubbish, reset and start from scratch again. So is that regarded as depressing, or would that be regarded as a positive move by people?
Well, I think it depends where you sit, but I think public opinion has shifted considerably, because obviously Reform and the Conservatives now are saying we can't reform the ECHR sufficiently from within. We're going to have to leave. And it does feel like time and again, the ECHR or various courts and lawyers thwart things that various governments try to do. And, you know, here we are with El Fattah in the country, having been given citizenship by the Tories and then lauded by Labour, who said they were delighted till they found all these abhorrent tweets, as they call it. And we hear this morning that the government are pretty much saying we're stuck with him, we can't deport him. And
Catherine,
you know,
thank you very much indeed, and we'll speak to you again after 9 o'clock. Thank you. So Catherine's had her say. Have your say. Get in touch with us. Scan the code there, and we will reflect what you've had to say.
Read as many out as we possibly can. Now, the other big story we're covering for you, millions of patients are seeking help in England's A&E departments for minor conditions.
We're talking pretty minor when you look at it, but A&E over the last 5 years have dealt with almost 2 million cases of people seeking help for a headache, for instance, for toothache, for hiccups, for constipation. All these sort of things. Is that really where you want to be going for A&E? I suppose it depends how blocked your nasal passage is. But
you shouldn't laugh, because I mean, people do get worried about these things. So I kind of understand it as well. But let's find out what's actually going on, and let's talk to NHS GP Dr. Abasha Mukherjee. Good to see you, Abasha. What is going on with this story? I mean, people do get worried about things like hiccups if they go on for such a long time.
I think the question is it worry, or is it a minor inconvenience? And are they going in because they think it's an emergency, or are they just impatient? And that definitely is the differentiator. I definitely had a patient the other day, I'm a GP, who said, oh, I was in hospital for an appointment, and as I was there, I just nipped into A&E because my child had a fever for one day. So as you can see, this is the mentality of as I was there, as I was close by. And I think if there was a minor fee or a fine, this would deter people from just turning up because they were just passing by.
So part of the problem, Basha, I mean, I know you are a GP, but is that we can't get to see our GPs now. So sometimes when you do have a minor ailment, your only opportunity to get any help at all is to go to A&E.
And it shouldn't be that way. Absolutely, I agree that GPs are inundated. Our appointments go this quick every morning. We do not have enough GPs to offer enough GP appointments. And I absolutely think that we should empower general practice, primary care. It's much cheaper to offer a GP appointment than it is to turn up in A&E. And God forbid you get admitted, you end up essentially not being able to leave at all, especially if you're an elderly person with social care issues. Then, you know, it's so much better to just keep people in the community. And I think it'll only come from again, redirecting funds to primary care. We still stand at less than 10% of the NHS budget being given to primary care at the moment, considering that GPs see 90% of patients.
Now, Doctor, I'm very interested. You talk about redirecting there. How do you redirect hiccups? And I'm quite interested. Not in a million billion years would I think of going to a hospital if I had hiccups. But Dawn's now got me worried because you're saying, like, if it starts, how do you stop it, whenever? And I just wondered, from a doctor's point of view, from a medical point of view, do you walk up to someone and go boo and scare them into their hiccup stopping, or how do you treat hiccups?
I mean, I think it's one of those things that we still don't really have a medical answer for. I think there's loads of ways that people try to treat hiccups, whether that is, you know, drinking water, you know, standing upside down. So from a medical point of view, you've got me there. But at the same time, I think what we need to understand is that people also are catastrophizing their own illnesses. They're going on Google, and, you know, a lot of times there's a lot of entitlement as well, where patients think they need to see a doctor. We've got the new forms in place where patients can send in their queries to their GP practices, and they get triaged in a specific way to cater for the level of problem that they're presenting with. But at the same time, people are not happy that they're being triaged in a certain direction. They feel they need to be seen that same day, so they will end up wanting to go see someone in A&E. So again, we have to set those boundaries with patients as well, that if we do not deter them adequately with a fine or a fee, I think they're going to continue to essentially use the service in the way that they are at the moment.
Okay. Thank you, Doctor. Thank you very much indeed for the appointment today. Not that we'll solve any of those problems, but I could give you hiccups, couldn't I?
You could, absolutely. Give you a heart attack at that rate, and I would be now, wouldn't I?
Yeah.
OK. Coming up, as streaming services surge in popularity, MTV, Eamonn's favourite, will pull the plug on 5 of its music channels today. Is it time for traditional TV to, well, pull the plug, basically? We'll debate that next. This is GB News.
Expect warm spells with the odd rude interruption. Box Boiler sponsors the weather on GB News.
Good morning, welcome to your latest GB News weather update, brought to you from the Met Office. It's a cold start to the final day of 2025, but there will be more in the way of sunshine out there if you are heading out on a New Year's Eve walk. But it's a frosty start. The frost may not clear across some northern areas. You can see that with the blue colours here on the map, and any mist and fog that's formed in the south and east could take a little while to clear as well. But once it does, there will be plenty of sunshine, in particular across England and Wales. Cloudier skies, though, starting to move into parts of Scotland in particular, with some strengthening winds as well. This will bring slightly milder conditions, but with a brisk wind, near gale force winds, it's going to be a pretty unpleasant start to the Hogmanay celebrations. Unfortunately for much of Scotland, some heavy downpours moving through as well. Should stay dry as we look further south towards Northern Ireland, as well as much of northern England and then into Wales and England. But there will be a lot of cloud around, a frost developing quite quickly across many southern areas, in particular once again into this evening. So you will want some layers if you are heading out for New Year's Eve celebrations. Now, as we head through the night on New Year's Eve, the winds will push down from the north, so that means snow showers will start to pile in across parts of northern Scotland in particular, to low levels initially, but we are expecting some snow, some high to lower levels later on to higher levels initially. And it's going to be a cold start to the day on New Year's Day. A warning is in force for snow and ice across northern areas of Scotland all the way until Friday. Further south, though, should remain relatively dry. There's a risk of the odd shower across parts of Wales and Northern Ireland. But for most of us, it should be a dry day to start 2026, but another chilly one, so you're definitely going to be wanting your hat and gloves. Have a great evening. Bye-bye.
Expect warm spells with the odd rude interruption. Box Boilers sponsors the weather on GB News.
5 hosts, 5 opinions, 5 fearless debates, 5 unfiltered takes on the day's news.
5 reasons not to be anywhere else on Saturday night.
This is the Saturday 5. You got me good there. Britain's biggest Saturday night TV show.
It's not a bad brand.
Yeah. Uncensored.
Very, very racy tonight.
On the unpredictable.
What did she say? Can you translate it for us?
And always entertaining.
And how can a country go from being led by William Wallace Saturday nights from 6 p.m. only on GB News, the People's Channel.
Britain's news channel.
You're going to want to stay tuned, trust me.
This is GB News, Britain's news channel.
Samantha, Jeffrey, thank you for your time tonight on The Late Show Live. Really appreciate it. This is a story that, amongst all the stories of wars and murders and crime and so on, at least it's given us a laugh, and at least the raccoon is okay. Just explain to us, if you can, Samantha, exactly what happened. Where was the raccoon found? Where is he now? Who found him and so on?
Yeah, so the store manager went to open up the ABC store here in Ashland, Virginia, and discovered a bunch of broken bottles in the back room. Upon further investigation, he was also located a raccoon that was passed out in one of the bathrooms. He had locked himself in the bathroom, and that's when the store manager called us to get him.
So first things first, how on earth did he end up in the store? How did he get in there?
So he fell through the ceiling. So he went through a ceiling tile and took out the wiring for the video camera as he was falling down. So we don't have a whole lot to go off of, just what the evidence that we encountered when we got to the scene of the crime.
So he fell through the ceiling, and I guess he landed on, because there's pictures here we've got of bottles of, I think it's whiskey, just strewn all over the store. So he must have fallen through the ceiling onto the shelves, smashed all the bottles, and then I guess from there thought it was going to be a great idea to, what, lap up all the alcohol on the floor?
I guess so. He just decided to have a party.
And who found him?
The store manager.
And what was their reaction? Have you spoken to them? What were their first sort of comments to you when they, I guess they called you to report the raccoon passed out in the bathroom, right?
Yeah, they were a little bit distraught. They didn't know how to get him out. They obviously did not want to pick him up themselves. So that's why they called us for assistance.
GB News, the People's Channel.
No matter the state it's in, this is our nation. Join me, Jacob Rees-Mogg, for a genuine, honest discussion on where we have been, where we are going, and where we are with the people who set the direction. Tune in to State of the Nation every Monday to Thursday, 8 to 9 o'clock. Only on GB News.
Going to talk TV now, and today marks the end of an era for music fans in Britain. After 40 years on your screen, MTV is closing 5 of its music channels. Didn't even know it had 5. But the thing was, I mean, it used to be regarded as forefront, groundbreaking, different. But now MTV's old. It was new, but now it's old.
Well, I mean, we all get there in the end, don't they? Yeah, from tomorrow, the only MTV channel left will be focusing on reality shows like Geordie Shore and Naked Dating UK. I didn't even know that was a thing. I'm not entirely sure I want to.
No, but there's so no music, just...
No.
naked...
The reality shows.
Yeah, reality.
Well, that's all that is
yeah.
on there. Okay. So let's have a heated debate about this, shall we?
Heated.
A heated debate about whether traditional TV is finished. Is it no more? Are we all streaming stuff now? Joining us now is showbiz journalist Julie Ann Traynor and media professor Akhil Ahmed. Good to see you. Thank you both so much for joining us. So let's start with you first, Julie Ann. Traditional TV, are we seeing the death of it?
Yes, I absolutely think so. As you mentioned there, MTV are losing 5 of its sister channels today, which is really sad because the channel has been around for 44 years. And just more and more people seem to be now tuning in to streaming services like Netflix, Amazon, different platforms like that, even YouTube and Spotify, in order to listen to their music. And it's just a sign of the times, I guess. And even if you look at like the likes of TV shows like Strictly Come Dancing and EastEnders, even their viewership is down drastically over the last few years. For instance, Strictly, it's been the 4th consecutive year that they have had declining viewers. So, I mean, this year it peaked at 8.4 million, whereas last year it was 9.5 or 9.3 million, and the year before that 9.7.
Now,
So
can we just bring Akhil in at that stage? Akhil, you're a professor of media. I'm listening to Julie Ann, and I have to admit, I agree with her. I see the writing on the wall here with this. Why do you think she's got it wrong?
Well, there's some logic in what she's saying in terms of viewing figures going down and things change, but things always change. And if you look at if you use the analogy of, when radio came out, theatre was supposed to be finished. When film came out, radio was supposed to be finished. When TV came out, cinema was supposed to be finished. Everybody finds a way of coexisting, and it's just different. And if you look at the MTV example, I'm not that generation when MTV first started, and it was amazing, right? Because up to then you could watch Top of the Pops and then the Tube, and that was about it in terms of music. But now music's all around you with Spotify and all the different kind of platforms.
But Top of the Pops is not all around us.
Well, Top of the Pops, because MTV killed Top of the Pops in the sense. So things actually find a way of changing and morphing into something else. And the viewing and how people access things now is very different. The amount of stuff they have around them. So TV, if you want to call it, the ability to watch programming,
but whatever device you
use will not go away.
Here is the difference, and we talked about Top of the Pops going away. Event TV. There used to be, it's Thursday night, it's 7:30, whatever, Top of the Pops is on. Everybody sit down, watch that. That whole idea, MTV brought along, well, you can dip in and out at any time of the day or night. It's not something that everybody is going to watch, and they're certainly not going to watch it at the same time.
Yes. But that event TV does still exist, though, doesn't it, Eamonn? Sorry about that. I didn't mean to jump in. So MTV does still exist. Event TV still does exist. When big things happen, when big events happen, when you talk about the World Cup or whatever it might be, or the Royal Wedding, or even the fact that Strictly and all those shows still have big audiences. The Traitors, a great example. But nothing stays the same forever. And what you may think of as Top of the Pops as being amazing, a generation who's used to the accessing music whenever they want, they look at Top of the Pops and think, God, did you really all sit there and watch Top of the Pops on a Thursday night? Just because life changed.
We did.
Julian, let's bring that back in on you now, because, I mean, there is a point. I mean, when England win the World Cup next year, I mean, we will be sitting around our TVs watching it, old school.
Well, I'm not even sure about that, because if you look at even the likes of the Anthony Joshua fight, which took place over a week ago, that was even streamed on Netflix. Whereas years ago, most people might have had to go to a bar or a pub to watch that. So it's really changing how people view even just sporting events. And even the King's Speech, for instance, that was down in terms of viewing figures this year compared to the Queen's one several years ago. So I think people are just choosing to watch things differently, and also people are not just sitting around their living room watching things on the TV anymore. They're watching it on their phone or on an iPad maybe, or if they're traveling. So there's definitely a total change in how people view television, and also the cinema industry is dying as well.
Terrible. Yeah,
hits hard.
Absolutely agree with you. And you've said to me, when's the last time you saw a good film, Eamonn? Got me there.
Yeah.
Anything that made me want to go out and go to the cinema. But Akhil, I think it's going the way of magazines. When you think of magazines, if you want a magazine on cars, on boats, on motorcycles or whatever, it's all separated and they're there on the shelves for you to go and see and read and peruse in your own time. And in a way, TV will be like that. So you can still access the programming, you can record the programming, but you're not, where I slightly disagree with you is that event TV thing, yes, it will happen, but not all at once.
No, it won't, because people's lives have changed, haven't they? I mean, look, when I first became, I've been working in broadcasting, for a long time, like yourselves, I mean, and when I was an exec 20 years ago, when I went to Channel, in fact, more, in 2003, I went to work for Channel 4 as an executive. We were told in a meeting in 2003, linear television, i.e. traditional TV, it's all over. Well, we're still here. And it will still be here. It's just going to be very different. And the fact of the matter is what we watched all those years ago isn't going to work necessarily with an audience today. And it will just change. It will carry on, but it will change. You'll still, GB News will still be here in a few years' time. I use that as an example because 10 years ago, GB News would never have existed. But actually now it does exist and it's part of the landscape. And that's the changes that always happen.
Yeah, and Julianne, the other thing I wanted to mention here is the cost. It's all very well, things are changing, things move on, but with all streaming devices and sort of like, the channels like Netflix, you have to pay for them and they're getting very expensive as well.
And too many of them to pay for.
But I think people are finding that more worthwhile than going to the cinema to watch something. I mean, a ticket to the cinema might be about £15, whereas you could get Netflix for a full month. But also, if you even just look at soaps, they're now facing drastic cuts. So are programmes like Loose Women and Lorraine. They're facing massive cuts next year. And not only that, but even the soaps, they're trying to have to think of new ideas. For instance, Coronation Street and Emmerdale on the 5th of January, they're doing a crossover for the first time ever where they will merge. And that has never been done before. No. And why is that? Because soaps are struggling, traditional TV is struggling, and they're trying to find ways to inject new life into it. Yeah. And even just when you mentioned there about the cinema, the Peaky Blinders movie is out next year. Yeah. It will only be released in certain cinemas. 2 weeks later, it's going to be on Netflix. And what does that tell you?
But everything you're saying, Julianne, I can really identify with it. I mean, Akhil is right, and there's certain things he comes up with there. But the writing is on the wall. And the idea that these soaps, the two soaps become one, or three, what's it called? What's that? Coronation? Yeah. I mean, what a lot of nonsense. It's just an idea. It's a cheap gimmick that will last for 6 weeks or whatever. End of story. That's it. Yeah. But as we would say, Akhil, as they would say in Dad's Army, as Sergeant Laurie would say, we're doomed. We're doomed. Do you not agree?
Nah, well, we've been doomed for a long time is my thing. The fact of the matter, we should always remember everybody changes and watches different things. I never thought in a million years I'd end up watching Married at First Sight Australia, but my daughter got me watching it and ended up being addicted. The fact of the matter is we all find something. I think Julianne is right. I think she's right. And, I agree. Things are not the same, but we all seem to find ways of coexisting. And actually that's the thing we need to remember. What we liked isn't necessarily what somebody else likes.
You're right there, that Married at First Sight. And I'm thinking, what am I watching this rubbish for? Absolute rubbish. No, but it's just rubbish. And you end up, because everybody else is watching, you think, well, I better watch it. And then you watch it, and you watch 3 episodes, 6 episodes, whatever.
We started this show talking about you watching Naked Attraction.
Well, I've seen Naked Attraction is a waste of blooming time. It's an excuse for just transmitting porn. It is.
Scientific reasons.
But it is. What on earth is Naked Attraction all about? Willies and bottoms and whatever. It's porn by another name. It's ridiculous. Yes. But anyway, we'll have to move on, guys. Love to have this chat with you today. But you were shared viewing this morning. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Gotta go. Thanks,
Julianne
guys.
Traynor and Akhil Ahmad there. And let us know what you think, obviously. gbnews.com/yoursay.
I don't know how you can stick up for Naked Attraction.
I'm not sticking up for it. I've never watched it, to be honest with you, but I did know the sound engineer who worked on it, and he said what you did with the mics was always an interesting point.
And my son, my youngest son, was a floor manager on it.
Oh.
Yes, so he had to pin the mics.
Oh, my gosh.
I told him, I said, is your father speaking? You're not to work on that filth. I told him that. Did he listen to me?
You know, you're turning into your mum. You are turning into your mum, aren't you? It happens.
There's a lot of my mother in me, yes, yes.
OK, there's plenty more to come throughout the show, but now, if you are travelling today, good luck. Here is your traffic and travel update.
Good morning, this is the latest AI travel news from gbnews.com. On the A9 northbound approaching Inveralmond roundabout, a broken down vehicle is partially blocking the road. The A4042 is closed both directions between Mamilad and Little Mill after an incident. On the M40 northbound between Junction 15 and Junction 16, there are lane closures after a crash. Also, the M1 northbound between Junction 14 and Junction 15 near Milton Keynes is shut after a serious collision. And on the trains, Avanti West Coast has engineering work between Milton Keynes Central and Northampton or Rugby, with disruption via Nuneaton, while Cross Country has engineering work around Cambridge and delays between Doncaster and Sheffield. For more travel news, go to gbnews.com.
Westminster's full of talk, but out here, it's the real world.
Am I allowed to talk now?
No, that's it. This is where it matters, real people and real lives. That's what politics is all about.
In fact, has Trump made a good start? No.
Straight answers, no spin, and just a couple of pints.
How many fingers have I got up? About 10.
So join me for Lee Anderson's Real World every Friday at 7 p.m, only on GB News. The People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
You want to know what's really going on in the corridors of power? Labour don't know what to do with you half the time, and that makes you quite lethal in the chamber. Get behind the headlines with Chopper's Political Podcast. Join me, Christopher Hope, as I sit down with the great and the good of British politics. We'll see where this ruling takes us. These are the stories shaping our nation. Chopper's Political Podcast, available now on all platforms. Listen in and stay ahead.
Decisions made in Washington aren't just shaping America, they're shaping Britain too. From migration to global security, from crime to health. Whatever happens in the White House today
will be felt in your town or city tomorrow.
That's why The Late Show is live from Washington, DC.
Cutting through the politics to show you what it all means for Britain.
The Late Show live every night at midnight.
Only on GB News,
Britain's news channel.
Exciting news. Every Friday, my Patrick Christie's Tonight Show is going to have a twist to it. We're welcoming some special guests. You. That's right, on Fridays I'm going to be doing my show in front of a live studio audience because this show is about you and what you have to say. It's going to be the same big debates, same big topics, same big opinions. But every Friday night at 9 p.m, you are invited to come on down to Patrick Christie's Tonight to be a part of the action. Only on GB News, the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
At GB News, we love to hear from you, our loyal community. So drop us a line at gbnews.com/your say. There you can talk to each other and also to the presenters live on air. gbnews.com/your say, because GB News is your channel, Britain's news channel.
Join me, Nana Okoye, for an informative, interactive news programme with a difference. It's fun.
No, he didn't say that, though.
I'm so surprised.
I think there's an element of truth to that.
Join me from 3 p.m. every weekend, only on GB News, Britain's news channel.
In the GB newsroom, we bring you the news as it happens.
With our team of dedicated journalists across the UK,
we're ready to keep you up to date with what's happening every half an hour, every single day. Bulletins here on GB News,
the People's Channel,
Britain's news channel.
You can identify.
Here in the studio, we're delighted to welcome back again Jennifer Powers and Norman Baker as they discuss things that are that are in the papers. And the first thing we're going to kick off with is the Daily Star reporting today, stop bothering making New Year resolutions. What do you think, Norman?
Well, I don't agree with that. I think resolutions are a fine thing to do, even if we fall by the wayside and don't keep to them. At least you start off on the right track, don't you?
Guilt trip. We'll put too much pressure on ourselves, and if you sort of
You have to put pressure on yourself.
Oh,
if you don't.
Don't you make resolutions, Dawn?
No, everything in moderation. Well, most things in moderation.
You do. You see, you must make resolutions certain ways. I mean, you're very good in terms of your body and keeping fit and the way you dress. And so you're a person of standards.
But that's not setting a resolution, Jennifer. That's just being yourself, isn't it?
That's just being Dawn, isn't it?
Well, thank you, Jennifer.
Being skinny and well dressed. That's just being
It's the
Dawn.
woman with the most loveliest hair in the world, by the way. It's mutual compliments here. But I mean, the thing is with resolutions, I find people set themselves ridiculous targets. Like, you know, someone that's never run.
Not everyone, yeah.
I mean, I'm going to run a marathon by February. I mean, no, you're not.
Yeah.
Right.
No, in my
Norman
family,
thinks it's a good idea. I think it's a good idea.
I think it's a brilliant idea.
She thinks it's a good idea to you?
No.
No.
My New Year's resolution is never to agree with you.
That's a resolution.
Okay, right, okay. So
I think it's too much pressure and people end up feeling guilty.
You don't have to make it a ridiculous resolution. You can make
people do.
You can
It's
make
just clarifying what you want out of the year. It's
Yeah.
you know, what do I want to do? In my family, we have a tradition where New Year's Eve we look backwards.
Oh, God.
So we talk about what our highlights of the year were, which is positive memories, what we did, and then we talk about what we want out of the new year. I think that's really healthy.
Yeah.
Okay.
But no.
But being born in
consensus
being
here.
born in Aberdeen,
That's-
New Year is very important to us, more
Yes.
important than Christmas in some ways. And it is an opportunity, as Jennifer said, actually, to look back and to look forward. It's a time of the year when you can do that sensibly.
But 3/4 of people in this country believe that the concept of New Year resolution is old-fashioned and it's outdated.
Oh, what a shame.
Does that agree with me then? So I'm right.
Most people agree.
Marvellous. I love that story. Excellent. Let us know what you're doing if you've got a New Year's resolution or if you agree with me. Agree with me is probably a good idea. OK, where do we want to go next? Oh, Norman, I love this story as well. This is in the Times.
This is about
the Beatles. You shoehorn a Beatles story or whatever you can.
I love the Beatles, and I'm not just the music, of course, which has been with me all my life, but actually people like Paul. I think Paul McCartney's a great person, so I'm always happy with the Beatles stories. So this one kind of upset me in a way, because I couldn't name the Beatles, says actress playing Ringo's wife. And this new series coming up and recreating the Beatles story. And this is this actor, Mia McKenna Bruce, who's 28, who says she couldn't name all 4 Beatles and didn't know much about them. Well,
how research it. If you're going to play the wife.
Of course you must do. I mean, how could you possibly be cast in that role without knowing it? And how can she go through her life not knowing the Beatles music? I mean, what a tragedy.
Because she's got too many names of her own. remember anybody else names on this one? So John, Paul, George and Ringo. All right?
You've helped her out, yeah.
She
Hope
also,
she's watching.
She also struggled with the Rolling Stones as well.
I don't know. I think this is a story not just about this ridiculous woman, but it's a story about the fact that the young have no shame. If I didn't know something that was that important, I wouldn't admit it. I wouldn't celebrate my ignorance.
You see,
I would go and look it up.
Ignorance is the key. And I go through my professional life and people will say, oh, I don't know that person. I wasn't born then. Well, I didn't know Humphrey Bogart. I didn't know Adolf Hitler. But for some reason, I made it my business to find out about them. Why do these... I mean, and I refer to my own kids on this one who are in their 30s and downwards. But they, for instance, will not watch anything that's in black and white. Well, that is
that's
stupid.
It's stupid. It's absolute stupidity. I took my daughter when she was about 8 years old to go and see Charlie Chaplin the Kid, a 1921 silent film. And I wasn't quite sure how she'd react to it because it was 100 years old, it was black and white, it was silent. She loved it. She absolutely loved the film.
Well, my son actually over Christmas, I think it was, it was on Christmas Eve, we watched It's a Wonderful Life. And
There's a colorized version of that.
No, it was black and white, and he's 12, and he said to me afterwards, that's the first black and white movie I've watched, all the way through.
What a wonder.
And he said he really enjoyed it.
Yeah. Well, tell him to watch Laurel and Hardy.
Absolutely, right. And also things like these gangster movies in the 30s, they have to be black and white.
Have to be black and white. Film noir.
Yeah.
All that. Very good. Very good. Right, we're back. More to talk about, more to disagree about right after this. Don't go away.
Dinner under the stars tonight?
That reminds me of our travel insurance.
You mean all clear skies?
All Clear Travel Insurance sponsors GB News Travel Destinations Forecast.
Hello, are you heading away for the new year? Well, there is some unsettled weather, some cold weather across Europe, in fact. Storm Francis is bringing some very wet weather to the Canaries through New Year's Day and into the weekend, as well as parts of Spain and Portugal. Comparatively drier for more central areas, though it is colder than it usually is at this time of year. The good news is, though, as it turns colder for the UK, it will slowly start to warm up into next week in the east. Bye-bye.
All Clear Travel Insurance sponsors GB News Travel Destinations Forecast.
Westminster, the ultimate clique.
And you're fighting like rats in a sack.
But here on the Camilla Tominey Show, we ask the questions the establishment media is too scared to ask.
OK, let me ask you a straight question, because I know you're a straight-talking politician.
Whether it's net zero, illegal immigration or law and order, nothing is off limits.
You had the power then.
Yeah, as
and now you've lost it.
That's the Camilla Tominey Show, a politics show that's fearless.
But no, let me finish my question if you don't mind, because it is my show.
Sundays at 9:30, only on GB News, the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
This is GB News, Britain's news channel.
Thank you, Matt. Let's hear now from the King.
This is a season when our thoughts turn to celebrations with our friends and families. In the midst of this festive period, I just wanted to ask you to join me today in finding a special place in your hearts and your minds and prayers for the hundreds of thousands of people across our United Kingdom who receive a cancer diagnosis each year, and for the millions more who love and care for them. I know from my own experience that a cancer diagnosis can feel overwhelming. Yet I also know that early detection is the key that can transform treatment journeys, giving invaluable time to medical teams and to their patients the precious gift of hope. These are gifts we can all help deliver. Throughout my own cancer journey, I've been profoundly moved by what I can only call the community of care that surrounds every cancer patient. The specialists, the nurses, researchers and volunteers who work tirelessly to save and improve lives. But I have also learned something that troubles me deeply. At least 9 million people in our country are not up to date with the cancer screenings available to them. When bowel cancer is caught at the earliest stage, around 9 in 10 people survive for at least 5 years. When diagnosed late, that falls to just 1 in 10. Early diagnosis quite simply saves lives.
No matter the state it's in, this is our nation. Join me, Jacob Rees-Mogg, for a genuine, honest discussion on where we have been, where we are going, and where we are with the people who set the direction. Tune in to State of the Nation every Monday to Thursday, 8 to 9 o'clock. Only on GB News.
These people must be drinking in the morning. It's incredible. Carol Ann, dawn is a breath of fresh air.
Oh, thank you.
This is not, if this was unique, if this was on its
lovely.
own, I'd say that, but this is just one of many, many things.
I love that people are drinking, obviously, because they're being nice. They're being nice about you as well.
They're happy,
It's New Year's Eve. Let's have some fun as well. And I guess we've got
Yes.
some good news for you as well, because it's time for the Great British Giveaway.
Ooh, yes,
and
let's
with
have a bit of that.
2026 just around the corner, imagine how having £85,000 in cash would help that. Here's all the details.
We want to make the new year your best year yet, with a chance to win our greatest cash prize to date. A simply stunning £85,000 in tax-free cash could be yours. Cash to splash on anything you can dream of. Treat the family to that bucket list holiday you've always fancied. Get your dream car you've always wanted. Or just relax, safe in the knowledge that the coming year is on us. £85,000 is the biggest cash prize we've ever given away. It's totally tax-free, which means that every single penny of it will be yours. For another chance to win £85,000 cash, text cash to 63225. One entry costs £2.50 plus one standard network rate message. Or text bonus to 63225. 5 entries cost £5 plus one standard network rate message. Go to gbnews.com/win. Entries start at £2.50. Call 0903 686 3232. Calls cost £2.50 plus your network access charge. Or post your name and number to GB18 PO Box 8690 Derby DE1 9TT. UK only. Entrants must be 18 or over. Lines close at 4 p.m. on the 30th of January. The winner may be contacted live on GB News, week commencing the 9th of February 2026. Please check the closing time if listening or watching on demand. Good luck.
We're talking hangovers now. And you'd have a hangover if you won that Great British giveaway, it has to be said. Jennifer and Norman here to talk about those. Jennifer, so this is in the Daily Mail, and they're doing this preempting the fact that tonight is New Year's Eve.
They are indeed, and they have bad news for us, I think. In that, apparently, the best cure for a hangover is not the Great British Fry-Up, it's to eat healthy vegetables, which I think is a little bit of a come down. I like the idea that if you're hungover, and then that big breakfast might be justifiable, and it might be helping you out. So, but you know, everyone has their own routine for how they handle. I mean, mine, unfortunately, in middle age, is to drink less because it's so much more painful to be hungover. So drinking less and having fewer hangovers is regrettably my approach. But what do the rest of you do?
Well, I try to avoid hangovers. I love a glass of wine. I end up on a Guinness, not at the same time. But I try to avoid hangovers. But I think if I get to a hangover, it's probably Alka-Seltzer in the morning.
Have you tasted that Guinness Zero?
Yeah, it's very good, actually.
It's very good.
It's really, it's the best fake alcohol, if you like, that exists.
Yeah.
Well, I must admit, I'm lucky enough not to get hangovers, but I think, like you, Jennifer, it's because I don't really overdo it. Yeah. I think a lot of women, certainly when you get to a certain age, you realise that you don't really want to be feeling rough, so...
But if you do overdo it, meals rich in fluids, fermented foods, lean protein and vegetables can speed up your...
Doesn't sound like much fun on New Year's Day, though, does it?
Also, I'm always suspicious of this, because if you're ever... I don't know if anyone, Googles different illnesses or, I have symptoms, what is it?
Yeah.
The advice for anything is eat fermented foods, lean proteins, eat vegetables, and drink water little and often. That's just basically good advice, health advice. And so we get it for everything, including now they're even going to take away the Great British Fry-Up.
What is fermented food, by the way, just out of interest? I'm not entirely sure.
Well, there's kombucha drinks that you can buy.
Right, OK.
So there's, like, fermented tea.
Because I'm thinking of cabbage, like fermented cabbage and things like that. So you're going to get up on New Year's Day, have a pint of water and some fermented cabbage.
So the hangover won't make you ill, but the fermented food might. Norman, tell us about new ways of flying jets.
This is an interesting story. Is it really true? I think it's sort of April the 1st story, but it's in the paper today, so presumably it is true. Which the airlines could be flying in convoy like geese to slash fuel use and therefore to save money. And Virgin Atlantic are taking part in this experiment. Presumably they'll be not too close to each other. They'll be still 1,000 feet apart in altitude and 1.8 miles in distance. But I don't know what the effect would be then, but, birds fly in these V formations aerodynamically, and they wanted to get planes to do the same thing.
Well, I think why this won't work is they'll never get these takeoff schedules and landing schedules to work out in the same. I mean, they might be able to fly across the Atlantic Ocean and then everybody break off and go to Boston and go to New York and various places like that. But
I mean, the red arrows are quite close together, aren't they, when you see them?
No doubt about that.
Smaller.
Yeah, I have to say, they've obviously done the maths, but if they're so close together to save...
Right, thank you so much, you two. Quick break for the weather.
Warm and cosy, with a chance of zero visibility. Boxed Boilers sponsors the weather on GB News.
Good morning, welcome to your latest GB News weather update, brought to you from the Met Office. It's a cold start to the final day of 2025, but there will be more in the way of sunshine out there if you are heading out on a New Year's Eve walk. But it's a frosty start. The frost may not clear across some northern areas. You can see that with the blue colours here on the map, and any mist and fog that's formed in the south and east could take a little while to clear as well. But once it does, there will be plenty of sunshine, in particular across England and Wales. Cloudier skies, though, starting to move into parts of Scotland in particular, with some strengthening winds as well. This will bring slightly milder conditions, but with a brisk wind, near gale force winds, it's going to be a pretty unpleasant start to the Hogmanay celebrations, unfortunately, for much of Scotland. Some heavy downpours moving through as well. Should stay dry as we look further south towards Northern Ireland, as well as much of northern England and then into Wales and England. But there will be a lot of cloud around, a frost developing quite quickly across many southern areas, in particular once again into this evening. So you will want some layers if you are heading out for New Year's Eve celebrations. Now, as we head through the night on New Year's Eve, the winds will push down from the north, so that means snow showers will start to pile in across parts of northern Scotland in particular, to low levels initially, but we are expecting some snow, some high to lower levels later on, to higher levels initially. And it's going to be a cold start to the day on New Year's Day. A warning is in force for snow and ice across northern areas of Scotland all the way until Friday. Further south, though, should remain relatively dry. There's a risk of the odd shower across parts of Wales and Northern Ireland. But for most of us, it should be a dry day to start 2026, but another chilly one, so you're definitely going to be wanting your hat and gloves. Have a great evening. Bye-bye.
Warm and cosy, with a chance of zero visibility. Boxed Boilers sponsors the weather on GB News.
Thank you, Britain, for helping us reach 10 million followers across our social media platforms. We're truly honoured to have your trust, one follower at a time.
Good morning, this is the latest AI travel news from gbnews.com. On the A68 southbound at Jedburgh, a broken down vehicle is partially blocking the road. The A4042 is closed both ways between Mamhilad and Little Mill after an incident. In Greater Manchester, the M56 westbound between Junction 2 and 3 has pedestrians in the carriageway with lane closures, improving after 9:40. In Leicestershire, the M1 northbound between Junction 22 and 23 has lane closures after a crash, easing after 9:36. And on the trains, Avanti West Coast has engineering work between Milton Keynes Central and Northampton or Rugby. For more travel news, go to gbnews.com.
This is your chance to become our biggest cash prize winner to date. £85,000 in totally tax-free cash could be making its way from our bank account to yours. It would be like having over £7,000 per month extra to play with each month for a whole year. That could be you, safe in the knowledge that 2026 is on us. For another chance to win £85,000 cash, text cash to 63225. One entry costs £2.50 plus one standard network rate message, or text bonus to 63225. 5 entries cost £5 plus one standard network rate message. Go to gbnews.com/win. Entries start at £2.50. Call 0903 686 3232. Calls cost £2.50 plus your network access charge. Or post your name and number to GB18 PO Box 8690 Derby DE1 9TT. UK only. Entrance must be 18 or over. Lines close at 4 p.m. on the 30th of January. Please check the closing time if listening or watching on demand.
Westminster's full of talk, but out here, it's the real world.
Am I allowed to talk then?
No, that's it. This is where it matters, real people and real lives. That's what politics is all about.
In fact, has Trump made a good start? No.
Straight answers, no spin, and just a couple of pints.
How many fingers have I got up?
About 10. So join me for Lee Anderson's Real World every Friday at 7 p.m. only on GB News. The People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
You want to know what's really going on in the corridors of power? Labour don't know what to do with you half the time, and that makes you quite lethal in the chamber. Get behind the headlines with Chopper's Political Podcast. Join me, Christopher Hope, as I sit down with the great and the good of British politics. We'll see where this ruling takes us. These are the stories shaping our nation. Chopper's Political Podcast, available now on all platforms. Listen in and stay ahead.
Good morning to you. Thank you for your company this afternoon. Now, your main stories. Reform UK leader Nigel Farage
What are you
has
on about
released...
this afternoon? It's only 9 o'clock in the morning.
What?
You said thanks to your company this
Did
afternoon.
I? Oh, my God. Did I? I'm sorry.
I'm suddenly thinking...
You know what? You know what, Eamonn Holmes? It's because it's gone so fast. I actually have so much fun working with you. I actually feel like it's the afternoon.
It's a joy. It's a joy. That's because you're here morning, noon and night. You can't tell the difference.
It's every good morning, evidently.
Yeah.
Good morning. And this is breakfast, evidently. It's breakfast, isn't it?
And Nigel Farage has been saying good morning and Happy New Year and all the rest because he has released a New Year's message.
We may well be the last chance this country has to actually restore some proper values. Those of family, community, country, the ones upon which I based this party when I founded it in the very beginning.
Yeah, Mr Farage says Reform is the only party offering hope and change ahead of the 2026 local elections. But do you agree with him?
The Lib Dem leader, Sir Davey, has also delivered a New Year's message. This is what he had to say.
Protecting our environment, fixing the NHS and social care, these are our battles. As well as standing up to Donald Trump and Elon Musk, taking the fight to Nigel Farage and winning. And we can win again in 2026.
Well, Nigel Farage promising change. Of course, we heard that from the Labour Party, didn't we? And Ed Davey, as usual, taking the chance to take a pop at Donald Trump. I'll tell you what else they said shortly.
Tens of thousands of people who were expecting to travel on Eurostar yesterday are furious this morning. They've woken up in cities where they didn't expect to be, but we believe things are getting back on track.
And swamped by sniffles, millions of patients seek help in A&E departments for minor conditions like headaches, coughs and hiccups, and constipation. Meanwhile, the government invests in 500 new ambulances.
A new year, a new you. From fitness goals to starting a new hobby, New Year resolutions. Are they a powerful motivator or do they just set you up to fail?
And behind the New Year celebration, pubs face a £32,000 business rates hit and punters are warned that the price of their next pint is set to surge.
Good morning. It's another cold but sunny start out there as we head into the new year. Snow is on the way. You can find out all the details with me a little later on.
And you can find out whatever you want, whatever you need from me, Eamonn Holmes.
And I'm Dawn Neeson.
Yeah, your woman here.
I've got no idea what day it is or what time it is, but I am Dawn Neeson.
We're with you until 9:30, OK? That's the good news.
Yeah, and it is breakfast and it is morning. So thank you for your company. We're really enjoying it, OK. Now... It's been going so terribly well, Eamonn, hasn't it?
It's been going very well. It's been going very well. Don't worry. Don't worry.
Because we were talking about hangover cures. And I was thinking...
I've never had a hangover in my life.
No, I know, because there's a very good reason, Eamonn, that's...
I don't drink.
Exactly. So, I mean, I've made...
People always look at you weirdly when you say you don't drink. They look at
Why do people not trust people who don't drink?
Well, they look, there's something wrong with him, or he's an alcoholic, or if he has drink, he won't be able to trust himself.
Right, OK.
Or whatever.
Yeah.
You know?
But you just don't like drinking?
No, I like an Irish whiskey with ice and a bit of ginger if I was forced to do something. But the champagne, no, not for me.
How can you not
Wine,
like champagne?
I don't, honestly. Brings me all over all hot and flushed.
Well, I mean, lots of you are getting in touch with Hangover Cures, gbnews.com/or so, by the way. And lots of people are sort of saying hair of the dog, which, I mean, a glass of champagne on New Year's Day for breakfast.
Well, if that's what you need, that's what you need.
We've got Catherine Forster in the studio with us as well, and Catherine's looking at me going, yeah. That makes a lot of sense.
I got the best bargain ever. I don't know if I'm allowed to say the shop, but champagne for $9.99 a bottle.
But it's not champagne, is it?
I'll tell you, it was
That's
a
the
Which
obvious thing.
Best Buy. It's a Which Best Buy, and it's great. I've drunk rather a lot of it because at $9.99 a bottle.
Yeah, and then after...
I feel I'm worth it at
after 3
$9.99.
glasses, you don't know what it is, so there we go.
That's very true. And just to make you feel better, Dawn, yesterday at 2:20 in the afternoon, I said good morning, so there you go. We're all a bit mixed up at the moment.
It's that time of year, isn't it? It really is that time of year.
Nigel Farage has been saying hello, good morning and welcome with his New Year's message, and he went on to attack the government. He talked about basically how gloomy we all feel, and it seems to have hit the button on this one. A lot of you seem to have liked what he's had to say, and this is what he had to say.
If we go on voting for the same old parties, I promise you, nothing will change. Think, just in the last few days, of the El Fattah case. Here's a guy that's come out of Egypt, come back to Britain, who's put out just the most abominable, hateful tweets about killing Jews, killing white people, fighting the police. And this man was given citizenship by the Conservative Party and welcomed back into Britain by the Labour Party. Frankly, there is little to choose between the two. We're the people offering hope. We're the people offering change. And 2025 showed you, with those county elections, which we won comfortably, what we are capable of. As we look forward to 2026, we have a massive set of elections. The whole of Scotland, the whole of Wales, all 32 London boroughs, county elections, thousands of council seats all over the country. And yet what are we now seeing? We're seeing a Labour government saying to those councils, if you want to cancel the elections, in some cases for the second year in a row, you can do so.
And I presume his advice is don't. Catherine, tell us more.
Yes, well, I think very smart of Nigel Farage and Sir Ed Davey to get these messages out now, because the ones from the Prime Minister and Kemi Badenoch will not land till late tonight. And I thought the backdrop of Greenwich, our naval heritage, the glory days, and then the city behind it, and Nigel Farage saying Reform are the only party that understand new tech and AI, and that this is where a lot of growth is going to come from. The message Britain is broken, and this El Fattah fiasco has absolutely fed into it, because, as he said, this is a failure of both the Conservatives and the current government. And Reform are promising change. But, of course, Labour got that big landslide, not really on any great love for them, but with that one word, change, on the manifesto. They promised change. People feel that they're not getting it. The latest approval ratings for the government, only 12% approve of the government, 68% disapprove. So a massive opportunity for Nigel Farage, for the Greens, who we'll be hearing from tomorrow. And we do seem to be now in a five-party system, with Labour and the Conservatives really struggling.
Should we actually have a look at what Lib Dem leader Sir Ed Davey had to say in his message?
Protecting our environment, fixing the NHS and social care, these are our battles. As well as standing up to Donald Trump and Elon Musk, taking the fight to Nigel Farage and winning. And we can win again in 2026 in Scotland, Wales and across England, to stop Trump's America becoming Farage's Britain and change our country for the better. So, from all of us at the Liberal Democrats, I hope you have a happy and hopeful new year. Let's make it a good one.
But you see, Catherine, when he talks about taking on Reform UK and winning, he has been doing that in terms of, seats on the board.
Well, they've got dozens of seats in Parliament, and they're doing moderately well with council elections too, but they don't have the momentum in the same way, because whenever Nigel Farage or Reform hold a press conference, there's so many media there and they say things that are interesting. Nigel Farage has just got an incredible way of connecting. He's incredibly talented at communicating. But I think where the Lib Dems come into their own is they can say all sorts of horrible things about Donald Trump because they're not the party of government. They're not the official party of opposition, and there will be a large sector of the people that are horrified by Trump and what's going on in America. And then there'll be a whole other big sector that look across the pond and think, at least he's getting things done. Things are happening, and why can't we get things done here? I think the point he makes about social care is valid too, because that's something he feels very strongly about, and something that this government also have kicked into long grass with yet another review.
Lots of people are saying that, you know, Donald Trump and Nigel Farage are living rent-free in Ed Davey's head. Just tell us what you're going to do in our country. We're not worried about what Trump's doing in America.
Yeah, and I was also struck in both speeches, them talking about the local elections, and I think in May, a huge moment. These local elections in England, in Scotland, in Wales, I think they could be exceedingly dramatic and possibly the writing on the wall for the Prime Minister.
OK, Catherine, thank you very much indeed. And a Happy New Year to you, Catherine.
And to you.
Good, and thank you very much for that.
Thank you.
10 minutes past 9. The Queen has this morning spoken out about a sexual assault which was against her during a discussion on violence against women on BBC Radio 4's Today programme. Have a listen.
When I was a teenager, I was attacked on a train. I'd sort of forgotten about it, but I remember at the time being so angry. Somebody I didn't know, I was reading my book, and, you know, this, man attacked me, and I did fight back, and I got off. I remember getting off the train and my mother looking at me and saying, you know, why is your hair standing on end, and why is button missing from your coat? And
so it was physical.
I've been attacked, but I remember anger, and I was so furious about it, and it sort of lurked for many years. And I think, you know, when all the subject about domestic abuse came up, and suddenly you hear a story like John and Amy's, it all, you know, it's something that I feel very strongly about.
Very brave of her to speak out, and more women should, and unfortunately we don't. And
But more women will. With her as an
hopefully,
example.
exactly, and that is, we should all follow that example and talk out about these things, because if we don't, you know, violence against women and girls is at an all-time high, and it does seem to be getting worse. So follow Queen Camilla's example and please talk out about it. It is important that we do so.
Talking about an all-time high, the GB News charity calendar is now on sale, and it's selling very, very well. 100% of the profits go to our charity partner, the London Taxi Drivers Association for Children, proudly supported by Queen Camilla, who you've just seen there.
Yeah, and it's beautiful. I've got one at home. Each month features artwork created by our very own GB News community. You can pick yours now up online at the GB News shop and help contribute to a wonderful cause.
And every penny of profit, I just want to stress, goes to the London Taxi Drivers Charity for Children, and it's been bringing joy to disadvantaged and special needs kids since 1928. If you would like one of these calendars, scan the QR code there on your screen or head to gbnews.shop. And here to tell us more about all of that and why he does it, Anthony Moore. Anthony is the chairman of the London Taxi Drivers Charity for Children. And Anthony, I know you've been there involved at the top for 15 years or so. What are you doing for these kids? What's the next big event for you?
Our next big event is in about 2 or 3 weeks' time. I can't give the exact date for security reasons, but it's in 2 or 3 weeks' time. And it's for 700 children at the Grosvenor House Hotel.
That's a lot.
It is, and that's without their carers. So we're talking of entertaining 1,000 people.
Oh, tell us more about how the charity got set up in the first place.
It was set up by a group of taxi drivers in, say, 1928, so tomorrow will be going into 98 years. And they took kids from Norwood and took them to a trip to the seaside. And we'd still do that trip every year. If we ain't the seaside, we'll take them to the zoo, and everything is provided.
How did you keep them occupied? You know, anybody who's got kids at all will know keeping them occupied, keeping them interested, keeping them amused. How many ice creams does that cost you, for instance?
It costs quite a few. As I say, when we go to one of the trips, we have Asda store, for example, that give us, you know, pens and bookmarkers. So on the journey and keep them occupied. Because I say all our children that we do take are special needs of one kind or another. So, you know, keeping their attention going, not getting them too disturbed on a, you know, could be an hour journey. So you do have to come up with different things. I mean, we have ambulances in attendance, breakdown in attendance, all to make sure motorbike riders stopping traffic for a certain part. You know, so it takes a lot of getting together and a lot of organising. But say, 98 years, we're getting the hang of it.
Oh, and what age groups we're talking about?
We are talking normally up to the age of 11. So primary school. Once they get to secondary school, you know, kids tend to change their attitudes on things. So, yeah, up to primary school age. So from, say, 7 up to about 11.
Yeah. And is it getting better, the care of these children? I mean, we are looking after kids better now who have got these disabilities.
Yeah, so what we used to come from care homes and from other places, whereas now every school has a special needs unit. So, you know, we can, you know, go direct to schools and they can, you know, make it a little bit easier on us because it's easier for organising, you know, because when the teachers come rather than a carer and so just on their own. So, yeah, it's easier but harder at the same time.
A big workload for you, but you must get a lot of satisfaction out of it.
Oh, for me, when you see them smiling at the end of the day, it really does make a difference. It really, I mean, on a personal level, for me, I mean, this year I had a private audience with Queen Camilla.
Who is patron of the charity?
Who is patron, you know, so I never thought I'd be there in a drawing room with a log fire going. It's something that I never thought would ever happen just being a taxi driver. But
and is it something you can tell us what you talked about or what our interest was?
That's a big secret. That's a big secret. No, it was what maybe the Palace can do for us for our 100th anniversary.
Wow.
So, you know, doing some kind of collaboration where they get involved to help out.
That is a massive achievement, 100 years. And what sort of taxis were we talking about 100 years ago?
Open-doored.
Yeah.
And by that, I mean, if you ever see an old film, you're talking taxis that have got no door on the side, no window on the driver's side.
Wagons.
Well, it was to keep the driver, apparently, from going from horse and carriages, to stop the driver falling asleep at the wheel. So they had, which is why you see drivers, even this day, they'll wear a flat cap and a scarf. It's like a tradition that we wear these stuff, but it was just to keep warm.
Anthony, it's an amazing job that you do, and the calendar is beautiful, I have to say. How do you, I mean, you're a tough taxi driver from the East End of London. How do you stop yourself getting emotionally involved, though? Some of the stories of these kids.
No, I do. As I say, I've said on the show before, you know, my first ever trip just as a driver, you know, I was just in the convoy at this point, and I had a young girl who was still in a pushchair, but she was about 8 or 9 years old. Mum had to feed her through a bottle. When we get to Southend, the mum took her on a little slow ride, and as she come round, she was smiling. And no, it's fine, it's the wind, it's the sand, and that's it. I mean,
Anthony,
I have 6 children of my own, so children are sort of like something I've always...
How many do you have?
6.
And have you ever found out what's causing that?
No, I'm still trying to figure that one out. If you don't mind, I'd say it's my eldest granddaughter's birthday today, so happy birthday, Scarlett. You know, hope you have a good one today.
Oh.
Good woman, Scarlett. Excellent.
Happy birthday, Scarlett.
Well done, Grandpa. Absolutely super work that you do there for the London taxi drivers. Charity for children. Happy New Year to you, mate.
Happy New Year to you and everybody.
Thank you.
And for anybody who still wants their calendar, you just scan the screen now if you can with your phone, and that'll give you all the details.
Yeah, get them quick before they go again.
Yeah.
Right.
And they are beautiful as well. Thank you so much for all the work you do as well on that one.
OK, you can pick that up, yes, I've told you all that. And time now for the Great British Giveaway. Now, that would be really nice to pick up, wouldn't it?
It really would. It's a lot of money. Here's how you do it.
We want to make the new year your best year yet, with a chance to win our greatest cash prize to date. A simply stunning £85,000 in tax-free cash could be yours. Cash to splash on anything you can dream of. Treat the family to that bucket list holiday you've always fancied. Get your dream car you've always wanted. Or just relax, safe in the knowledge that the coming year is on us. £85,000 is the biggest cash prize we've ever given away. It's totally tax-free, which means that and every single penny of it will be yours. For another chance to win £85,000 cash, text cash to 63225. One entry costs £2.50 plus one standard network rate message, or text bonus to 63225. 5 entries cost £5 plus one standard network rate message. Go to gbnews.com/win. Entries start at £2.50. Call 0903 686 3232. Calls cost £2.50 plus your network access charge, or post your name and number to GB18 PO Box 8690 Derby DE1 9TT. UK only. Entrants must be 18 or over. Lines close at 4 p.m. on the 30th of January. The winner may be contacted live on GB News, week commencing the 9th of February 2026. Please check the closing time if listening or watching on demand. Good luck.
Decisions made in Washington aren't just shaping America, they're shaping Britain too. From migration to global security, from crime to health. Whatever happens in the White House today
will be felt in your town or city tomorrow.
That's why The Late Show is live from Washington, D.C.
Cutting through the politics to show you what it all means for Britain.
The Late Show live every night at midnight.
Only on GB News,
Britain's news channel.
Bold. They are under no illusion. Ray. Are you a human trafficker? Boundless. I've had enough of the nonsense, and I'm not afraid to say it.
Don't get us on the BBC.
Every weeknight, I tear through the headlines.
The smell of gasoline. Should we be worried about it?
From Westminster madness to cultural war chaos.
What we're going to do now, they are throwing things out the car as we speak.
Get ready, Britain. Here we go. Patrick Christie tonight, weeknights from 9 p.m, only on GB News, Britain's news channel.
Hi, I'm Michelle Dewberry, and my show is your opportunity to cut through all the noise and dive in headfirst to some robust debates. Ideas clash.
Situation, isn't it?
No,
Because the failure is...
You're deliberately avoiding my point. Nothing's held back.
And if you think this is the end of it, wait for more.
And we do not shy away from the difficult stuff. Sometimes I want to shake people and say, if only you understood. So join me on Jubes & Co. weeknights at 6 p.m, only on GB News, Britain's news channel.
Westminster's full of talk, but out here, it's the real world.
Am I allowed to talk now?
No, that's it. This is where it matters, real people and real lives. That's what politics is all about.
In fact, has Trump made a good start? No.
Straight answers, no spin, and just a couple of pints.
How many fingers have I got up?
About 10. So join me for Lee Anderson's Real World every Friday at 7 p.m, only on GB News. The People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Britain was once the envy of the world. But look around. A nation that no longer knows what it is or where it's going. A country that's broken. How do we fix Britain? How do we bring it back? Friday night with Matt Goodwin at 8 p.m, only on GB News.
No matter the state it's in, this is our nation. Join me, Jacob Rees-Mogg, for a genuine, honest discussion on where we have been, where we are going, and where we are with the people who set the direction. Tune in to State of the Nation every Monday to Thursday, 8 to 9 o'clock. Only on GB News.
Britain deserves a newsroom that puts the facts and your voice first.
Well, and that's what you get on GB News. Lively debates, lively conversation.
And we're not afraid to hold power to account.
And each other. So join me, Andrew Pierce.
And me, Miriam Gates, for Britain's Newsroom, weekdays from 9:30 on GB News.
Right, so busiest nights of the year, one of the busiest nights for pubs. We hope it is.
Well, absolutely, because we need to do our bit for the hospitality industry because it is absolutely being hammered. They're facing an extra £32,000 in business rates over the next 3 years, and many fear they will close.
Well, let's see if Operations Director at Star Pubs, Mick Howard, is one of those people. Mick, Happy New Year to you, just in advance, but will it be a Happy New Year? How bad is the situation?
Yeah, Happy New Year, Eamonn and Ellie. Yeah, we're hoping to have a really good evening tonight on the back of a good Christmas week. But unfortunately, you know, we do face a tough year ahead. We were promised an overhaul and a fairer system by the government of business rates, but what they delivered was more complexity and higher bills. Pubs have been performing well in the revenue that's coming in, but margins are getting squeezed tighter and tighter, and that just can't continue. Pubs disproportionately have a tax burden that other businesses don't have.
But Mick, tell me, do you think anybody's listening to you? Do you think the government's listening to you?
Well, we keep lobbying. We hope they'll listen. There's still a chance for them to change what came forward and came out of the budget. We're hoping that the Chancellor will review all the information we're putting forward, will listen to publicans, will listen to the pub industry. Pubs provide a vital service for local communities, they're community hubs. We see that a place where people can come together. And investment in tax relief for bricks and mortar businesses like pubs is investment in that local community.
Mick, we're gonna leave it there, my friend. Time is against us. We hope it is a good night and a good year ahead for you. Thanks for your time this morning.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Thanks, Eamonn. Thanks, Ellie.
Very much indeed.
Yeah, absolutely. Get out and do your bit tonight, people. Go and celebrate your local pubs because they need our help. But don't you dare go anywhere because it's Britain's Newsroom up next with Cameron and Sophie. Thank you for watching this morning.
And if we don't see you again, Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
It's going to be a good year for you next year. See you next Monday. Bye-bye.
Expect warm spells with the odd rude interruption. Box Boilers sponsors the weather on GB News.
Good morning, welcome to your latest GB News weather update brought to you from the Met Office. It's a cold start to the final day of 2025, but there will be more in the way of sunshine out there if you are heading out on a New Year's Eve walk. But it's a frosty start. The frost may not clear across some northern areas. You can see that with the blue colours here on the map. And any mist and fog that's formed in the south and east could take a little while to clear as well. But once it does, there will be plenty of sunshine, in particular across England and Wales. Cloudier skies, though, starting to move into parts of Scotland in particular, with some strengthening winds as well. This will bring slightly milder conditions, but with a brisk wind near gale force winds, it's going to be a pretty unpleasant start to the Hogmanay celebrations. Unfortunately for much of Scotland, some heavy downpours moving through as well. Should stay dry as we look further south towards Northern Ireland, as well as much of Northern England and then into Wales and England. But there will be a lot of cloud around, a frost developing quite quickly across many southern areas, in particular once again into this evening. So you will want some layers if you are heading out for New Year's Eve celebrations. Now, as we head through the night on New Year's Eve, the winds will push down from the north, so that means snow showers will start to pile in across parts of northern Scotland in particular, to low levels initially, but we are expecting some snow, some high to lower levels later on to higher levels initially. And it's going to be a cold start to the day on New Year's Day. A warning is in force for snow and ice across northern areas of Scotland all the way until Friday. Further south, though, should remain relatively dry. There's a risk of the odd shower across parts of Wales and Northern Ireland. But for most of us, it should be a dry day to start 2026, but another chilly one, so you're definitely going to be wanting your hat and gloves. Have a great evening. Bye-bye.
Expect warm spells with the odd rude interruption. Box Boilers sponsors the weather on GB News.
Thank you to our global community for watching and listening to GB News. We're not only the #1 news channel in Britain, we're chosen by you around the world.
Good morning. This is the latest AI travel news from gbnews.com. On the A68 southbound at Jedburgh, a broken down vehicle is partially blocking the road, so expect delays. The A4042 is closed between Mamhilad and Little Mill after an incident. In Northumberland, the A1 southbound between the A19 and the A197 has lane closures after a collision, with recovery likely by around 10:18 this morning. Also on the M1 northbound between Junction 14 and Junction 15 near Milton Keynes, 2 lanes are shut after a crash, easing by about 10:54 this morning. And on the trains, Avanti West Coast has engineering work, while Cross Country reports disruption. For more travel news, go to gbnews.com.
This is GB News, Britain's news channel.
Well, here at Holbrook Animal Rescue, they're being forced to relocate, and if they can't find a suitable alternative, they'll even be at risk of closing. And I've seen the amazing work that they've done here. Just earlier we met a dog called Essie who has just found her almost possible forever home literally in the time that we were here. She only came here a couple of days ago, so it's really great work that they do for all animals. Like this one here, this is Torn, he's just a puppy, and I'm also joined by Laura Santini, who runs the shelter. Tell us a bit about Torn here.
So this is just a little fellow that came in, no fault of his own. The people just couldn't cope with him. So he's lively, and he's a half shepherd, half Labrador.
What kind of impact would the possible relocation or even closure have on dogs like this one and all the other animals you have here?
Well, simply that we wouldn't be able to take them. So if the next one comes up like this and we've got nowhere to go, then we just can't take them, obviously. So what happens to them at that point, I don't know, because we don't just take beautiful pups like this. We take the old and the sick and the dogs that other people don't necessarily want to take. So I can't imagine what would happen to some of them. So I don't know. It's sad. It's just a sad situation.
And you've had quite a lot of support from the community here in trying to relocate. What's been there for you in terms of support?
They're absolutely incredible. They've sent 1,000 letters into the council to try and support us and help us and let